Hello, hello, welcome, and what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Strimstream. I'm glad you could all make it. I'm especially glad I'm here. Today was a very long day, a lot of traffic, but I made it on time. And today we're going to be doing everyone's favorite thing, showing off and playing some Dungeons & Dragons Online. I'm going to start off the show with the same way I start off every single show, by doing my wonderful gold roll that I unlocked today for being a VIP. If you're not a VIP, this is something you're missing out on, and you should highly think about spending $15 per month of your hard-earned money on unlocking this incredible 4,000 experience points and a jeweler's toolkit. I'm not even kidding. I've gotten that 3 times in 3 weeks. You can check the VODs. I did this 3 weeks in a row. That's amazing. I don't know what the probability of that is, but it's kind of unbelievable. Alrighty. So now that we got that out of the way, we got our wonderful jeweler's toolkit that I don't entirely know what to do with. Do my silver roll as well that I get for just playing the game. Whoa, we got the jackpot! What did I roll? I rolled a 100, so I got a Tome of Skill of Bluff +1 to +2. Wow, today is my lucky day. Holy moly, everybody. So while I consume these experience potion effects, I don't know where they end up. Oh, apparently they count as jewelry. So while I consume this wonderful jewelry, I'm going to start off by talking about my character build that I got going on here. I'm going to turn on the music so you can actually see what it is. I am showcasing some of the wonderful music from the video game Lord of the Rings Online. So if you haven't had the chance to play that game, it's a fantastic game made by this interesting company known as Turbine. I'd love to have some Dungeons & Dragons music featured on this stream, but unfortunately there's really none that you can download out there, and I don't have one of the original soundtracks, so I'm kinda out of luck. However, let's jump into the meat of this. So we're going to talk about the build. So for those of you that are just joining in, you're like, man, look at this robot, he looks so cool with his armor and his golden hat, which I'm very happy I got. What is this? Look at these spells that are on the bar. What is all the stuff that's going on? Well, this character was designed to be an experiment. I wanted to be 100% pure Force Wizard. In the last patch that they added into the game, they changed the Arcane Bolt and the Arcane Blast so that they fully scaled with spell power, which they didn't before, and that they scale with all of the metamagic feats. So they went from being garbage and unplayable to actually doing some amount of damage. How much is that damage really? I wasn't entirely sure. Playing this character up until level 12 can only be described as a chore. It's not that it wasn't effective. People that played with me can attest to the fact that I was doing a decent amount of damage. I was able to keep up. I was still most of the time keeping the top of the kill board. I was still playing an effective character. But I felt like I had to work a lot harder. Planning out and pinpointing where you're going to land your chain missiles is really important, so you have to have a lot of very good target selection. Gust of Wind was actually sometimes helpful, and very, very important is Ice Storm becomes your best friend once you hit level 7. This spell does an amazing amount of damage. I'm using it only because it does actually scale with force damage, so I let it slide. Without Ice Storm, I would have definitely 100% quit playing this build. Without question. Alright, but then, when I hit level 12, I got this Arcane Blast. Now, not only is this one of the coolest looking spells in the entire game, and I love throwing it, it's so cool, it makes me feel amazing on the inside and the outside, it also does billions and trillions of damage. It costs 6 spell points and has a 6-second cooldown. This spell does so much damage, it makes the game go from, like, difficult, and you have to think a lot about. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a chore. I had to think a lot about the targets that I chose, and I had to be very prioritized. Once you get Arcane Blast, you throw all that out the window, and it's like you're playing Warlock again. You just throw the spells, and they just do whatever. So it's a pretty cool character. So the spells that I've taken, I don't even have spells in all my slots. I don't even know what to take. Like level 7, I could take Finger of Death, but honestly, it costs way too much mana, and it doesn't really give me that good of an effectiveness. When 9 times out of 10, I'd prefer Hold Monster than Finger of Death. I mean, I could take Auto Sphere, but most things die before I can even use that. Mass Elements seems kind of good, so I can buff my teammates, but I don't have a lot of mana because I'm a wizard. Like, I don't even know what to take. So I just have Greater Teleport and Hold Person Mask, because that just seems kind of good. Disintegrate is a very useful spell, fantastic against any kind of those, constructs, anything like that. Does way too much damage. And of course, I have Reconstruct. Currently, when I Reconstruct, you can't see it there. Where is it? I'm doing 500, I believe. Yeah, 501 right now, which is pretty good. I've got Repair, 156 spell power, and then from items and also enhancements, I've got 40 Repair amplification. Still less than my positive healing amplification, which I put no effort or points in to try to get, but that's how the game works when you play Warforged. But yeah, ever since I got Arcane Blast, the game's been an absolute blast to play. This Arcane Supremacy is a very odd buff. It's generally not considered very good, but the interesting thing is, and it's almost never useful, but when it's up, you do a bajillion damage. The big problem is you can't really control it. There's no internal timer, like there's no clock that appears here that tells you how long till it's going to cool down. So unless you're mentally counting, you have pretty much no control over this ability, and it just activates whenever, which means you'll never have it on a boss fight, and anytime you actually need it, it'll just sometimes give you a ridiculous number on your screen. Not always bad, just hard to control. If you get it on a boss fight, you turn the bosses inside out. It's pretty fantastic. The other thing that's really nice is just having this fire shield here. For 6 mana, I get an extended quickened fire or cold shield, and so bam, look at that, like 3.5 minutes, and I can cast it almost immediately if I need to flip over to the other one for almost no mana. It's hilarious. So that's essentially the character is going. The next place that it's going to be going after this is I'm going to be moving up in the Eldritch Knight line. I'm going to be picking up some of this spell failure chance from the armor, shield training, spell sword, and also some more from my Warforged body feats. And through all of this combined, I'm actually going to be picking myself up. Oops, sorry, I have to move here. There we go. Through all of this combined, I'm actually going to be picking up adamantine armor at my next level, level 15. So that's going to be pretty cool, and I'm excited for that. However, to get this to work, I will require a gem, so it's maybe not super beginner-friendly, but what can you say when you're a robot that's on fire with a flaming crown? So some of you might be wondering, alright, enough of the boring talk, Strim Tom. You talked about your build, why it's kinda good sometimes. What are you doing today? Well, today we're going to do everyone's favorite quest line in the entire game. That's right, we're doing Giant Hold. I'm going to be starting with Giant Hold group right now. If you happen to be playing on the Galanda server, feel free to jump in and join the Giant Hold group. Giant Hold, Elite, and I'm going to type in all my quests because I have them all by memory. Feast, Cabal, Crucible, Madstone, Trial by Fire, Maze, Pop, Discord, Cry, Tor. Bam, like that. Grab Feast, and we're going to get going. Some of you might be thinking to yourself, but geez, I've already seen this guy do these quests a lot, you know? I've seen Giant Hold. But what you haven't seen is Giant Hold from the perspective of a wizard that throws these weird purpley balls of arcane damage. I don't even know how to really describe it. It's not like lightning, it's arcane magic, you know? It's that exciting mishmash of stuff that no one's ever used. So if you're watching this character and you're like, man, where's all those cool, colorful effects I've never seen before? That's right, there are effects in the game that are really cool. It's one of the things I hope they kind of look at in the future. There are a lot of classes that have very cool, interesting effects that are just kind of underutilized, I guess, is the way I want to put it. So you have a really cool spell like Arcane Blast, but because it was so underpowered, I'd never seen it. The only time I'd ever seen the Arcane Blast effect is when it actually procs from the Colors of the Queen, which is not ideal. It's not the best time for you to get some procs, or to see the main effect of an entire character tree. So I'll be able to show off the build. It's relatively strong. I got 300 life, which is a decent amount. And then because I've got decently high saves with Knight Shield and Greater Heroism, I've got almost 28 Reflex, 27 Reflex, 26 Fortitude. So it's pretty tanky as well. What? No. Get out. I want to go outside. No. Help. Help. I can't get out. I just keep going back into the town. That's not what I want to do. I mean, I like being town. I like town. Don't get me wrong. This character also has some disadvantages. So the way I'm itemized, I don't have a Featherfall item, so I have to cast Featherfall. My items aren't really that amazing. I have a Docent that's level 4 because it gives Insightful Impulse. I have an Impulse Necklace that gives Transmutation Focus, which is important for my Disintegrate. And then I have a Goggles that give me Evocation Focus. Evocation Focus is very useful. Arcane Blast is obviously Evocation, and where is it? Arcane Bolt is also Evocation. When I get Heighten, I believe I'll get Heighten at level 18, Or I'm actually, no, I might be able to take Heighten to 15. When I get Heighten, it'll be affecting these two spells here, my Arcane Blast and my Arcane Bolt. Arcane Bolt will get a +5 on his DC at level 15, or a +6 actually. And that's crazy. That's a super high benefit. +6 to the DC is one of your main damage spells is really good. If I'm going to show off the Arcane Blast here, there's a guy, Arcane Blast, kaboom! It killed that guy over there, and it just looks all pretty. Look at that. I love the way it looks. It killed the giant around the corner, and I didn't even see him. It's already off cooldown, so I can just throw it again. Kaboom! 800 damage. Oh, are you coming at me? Well, wait for it. It's almost off cooldown. Kaboom! Oh, it didn't kaboom. Well, I wanted it to kaboom. So, that's kind of the gist of the character and the build. Very neat. I can't really see any times where this character actually runs into trouble. The neat thing is, almost nothing is immune to force damage. Demons, anything that has any kind of elemental resistance is immune to force damage. I'm going to skip this song. You know, there are some like arcane oozes that are immune to force damage, or not immune, that are resistant. And you have your golems that take less damage from force, of course. Ha! Force, of course. And then when enemies make their reflex saves, you just kind of stand here and do nothing, and you feel like a chump. But that's really a symptom of me not taking the right feats in the right order. What I should have by now is I should have Spell Focus Evocation to make it easier, so I don't have this happening with the saves where I don't do any damage to the enemies. Die. Die. Thank you. Obviously, you want to have your Spell Focus Evocation. It's a really good ability. Oh, hey, look at that. That guy died too. He got turned to stone. Yeah. This still does kill kind of slowly, but it feels a bit better than it did before, which is the important thing. Also, this build does way better when you actually clump enemies up than it did before. Before, clumping enemies was not really the best idea, quite often. You'd run into situations where when you clump enemies, you can't really kill them. This way is the complete opposite. When you clump enemies, they take infinitely more damage. While I do have single target spells that can get body blocked, like the Arcane Bolt, if somebody body blocks Arcane Blast, it just explodes and kills everyone. So pretty nifty effect. Also, by clumping my enemies, it gives me more options to throw down some Ice Storm, which does a hilarious amount of damage. Very important though, you always have to keep on top of champion monsters. This build is not immune to champion type monsters, much less considering I don't have any real form of physical or magical resistance rating. I do have 18, but that's from items exclusively. Wow. I didn't expect to take that much damage. Jeez. Well, that cuts that short. On 1, I rolled a 3. And then I failed on a 10. So, I mean, what are you gonna do? You get to watch me die. That was, ugh, special. How do I have 27 life? That's weird. Oh, temporary hit points. You didn't watch that. You didn't see that. Mulligan, do-over. You didn't see that. Normally that really doesn't happen, but that just happened. Hey, look at that. It's good. There's a lot of quests going on right now. Jeez. A lot of people doing quests at this level in this range. I probably could have joined a group, but I like hosting one. I just like to be able to bring people into the fold. Sometimes that fold is me dying to a trap. It's not that common, but it does happen. This is why, and this is very important and crucial to your playing experience, no matter what point you're playing the game, and you're like, man, I'm having a lot of fun, my character's really strong, highly recommend you always bring a hireling with you, a cleric hireling, if you don't have anyone there, in case you're like me and you screw up, because sometimes you make bad decisions. You can have a cleric hireling that'll just res you out of those bad situations. So I'm going to do that after I re-get these buffs from these wonderful, wonderful people here. Now, the unfortunate reality of the situation is that I can't actually use my greater teleport to get me back out to Giant Hold. I do have to go to the top floor and talk to the guy. Whatever. And then we're going to do round 2. That was a great way to start off the stream. You know, I'm talking about how great my character is, how wonderful it is, and then kabam! Like a punch in the gut, I died of the trap. What are you going to do? That's one of the things I do genuinely love about the game, is that at any time, you know, you can just run into a situation that you can't really handle. I should have been more careful. I'm not going to deny that. But jeez, those traps, man. Rage. Warforged Barbarian. Hmm. Now this one has Resurrection, whereas this one has Death Ward, Mass, and Resurrection. I don't need Death Ward, so I'm going to take this one because it has Comet Fall, and Comet Fall is cooler. Comet Fall is a way cooler spell. I like when my clerics kill people. That's another thing I was actually going to go into detail about when talking about this build. Once I hit level 16 and I get all of my abilities allow me to use items without worrying about the spell failure chance, I will have the Shield of Tireless Aid, which I can equip. This is an item that you get out of the Demons, or the Archon Chain. I don't remember exactly which quest. If I did, I'd talk about it, but I don't. The big deal about the shield, though, other than the fact that it gives 20 exceptional healing amplification, which is unbelievable and great, it also gives Healer's Bounty, so it gives you a small chance to actually have the heal spell cast on you whenever you're attacked. This is extremely useful. When you're just being mobbed by a bunch of dudes, and you don't know what to do, having this shield is fantastic. What you don't realize about it is, sure, is a heal spell really that good? Well, the first thing about this is that the heal spell scales off of your devotion. So it gives you devotion, and then the heal spell scales off your devotion. So, if I happen to have a high positive energy healing chance, which I do, I have 135, that will scale with this. So the heal that'll hit me will actually be amplified. But more importantly, heal heals a lot more than just your health points. If you get, diseased, if you have ability damage, stunned, that kind of thing, heal just removes all that right away. So if you get stun locked by a bunch of guys, so you're just standing there and they're hitting you with their like sonic arrows that stun you, or you're getting hit by sound bursts or something, there's a chance that it'll just boom, you'll get hit by that heal and you'll be free, and you can turn around and do whatever. This shield is fantastic in just any kind of supporting character, or even any kind of frontline tank character. Fantastic ability. I'm going to reset this because I'm bad, and we're going to try again. Now, hopefully, I'll be able to showcase the build a little bit better, but probably not. Alright, so now I have a wonderful cleric, who I'm going to tell to stand right here, because if he dies to the trap, he doesn't really help me at all. Spend a million hours casting a bunch of buffs, and then this should work. Ooh, a bleeding effect. Now you notice I have the Arcane Supremacy buff, so when I throw this out, if they both fail their save, I do a lot of damage and have a really high chance to critically hit. Fantastic buff and ability. Again, the problem is you can't really control it. You never really know when it's going to come up. All of a sudden you're just playing the game and then kapow! You get this awesome buff that does a lot of extra damage, but you never really know when you're actually going to be able to use it. My ball didn't go poof. There we go. Okay, so I hear the blades there, but it didn't kill me this time. As long as I don't die to the traps this time, I'll be alright. Those guys will eventually chase me down. I just want to kill this. Hey, Noguk. I just want to kill Noguk. You know what I'm saying? I don't like him. I don't like champion monsters. They scare me. I mean, it might look like I'm a champion because I am the 100% champion wizard. If you look at my little thing above my head. Ooh, monsters. But I still don't like champion monsters when they get all up in my face. I'm kind of really zoomed in, though. Hey, I got a person joining. Welcome, welcome. I just started Feast. Oh my gosh. Die, monsters. See, it still does take a little while to... Oh, I'm not dying to this again. Here we go. There! Only got hit by 1. Still only rolled an 8, but what are you going to do? Not dying to that again. It still takes me a little while to clear stuff, that's for sure. So I'm not going to tell you... Also, if you're watching this and you're like, man, this looks like an interesting and cool character build. If you're looking for a better way to play and build a wizard-type character, I recommend playing a build that's not this one. This one, the whole purpose is to test out the new tree, or the redesigned Archmage tree for the wizard. I call it a redesign simply because they added epic feats that integrate with the Archmage wizard that don't work with any other spec or enhancement or class in the entire game. It only works with Archmage wizard abilities, because it's specific to the Arcane Bolt and the Arcane Blast, and it's also specific to the epic levels. I'm going to have to test it out, and I will test it out, but that's the whole purpose of this build. If you're looking for the top DPS or top survivability of a wizard build, basically play a character just like this, even be evocation focused, but instead of going, hey, die. But instead of going with the Oh, did I not go in the one door? Jeez. Instead of going with all force damage and using only force effects, use good spells, like Delayed Blast Fireball. Great spell, lots of damage. Or other good spells, like... oh, there are other good spells, aren't there? Horrid Wilting. Actually, that's not really a very good spell. That's a mediocre spell. Damn. Damn. I'm trying to think of like other good spells you could use. Chain Lightning is a fantastic spell. Regular Fireball or Lightning Bolt or Acid Blast. It's a great spell. Or Wall of Fire, another great spell. These are all spells I'm avoiding. I don't need to not use them. In fact, my DCs are pretty high, especially Evocation, that kind of thing, that I'd actually benefit a lot from just going and using those abilities. But, as an alternative, I'm just not, because then it's part of the challenge, you know what I'm saying? Ah, saves. They make this saves, it makes me sad. Oh, he body blocked it. So the trick is... throw down a wall of ice, or acid wall of ice, ice storm. An ice storm does a hilarious amount of damage, so it'll kill most of the monsters that end up trying to come into it to get me. Oh, oh, or not. They'll just stand in the ice storm. They don't really care enough. They're just like, whatever. Which is also the case. Stand in the ice storm, monsters. Stand. That's weird. I didn't see any damage coming up from the ice storm. Maybe I placed it wrong. Hard to tell sometimes. Anyway, pick up all my collectibles. Another benefit of Arcane Blast is that it breaks stuff for you. I mean, I say that, but it didn't break the stuff. I swear, guys, this character kind of, sort of, maybe works. I know I'm, like, talking, and I'm like, oh yeah, listen to, like, the benefits of my character. But they are there when I actually say them. This character also shines a lot when you're in a group because you can haste your teammates and give them greater heroism. So Viria, who's with me right now, I can turn to Viria and buff every single one of her stats. And then I can shrine. See, and now Mira can go kill stuff. And I don't have to do anything. It's wonderful, isn't it? It's all about teamwork, you know. Delegation. Being able to give your teammates the opportunity to exceed. No, I don't know who's in my party. But I have a feeling I have somebody who's a lot better than me at the video game who's going to help me out. Oh, wait, we can do the optional. Ooh, I want to do the optional. I'm in. Yeah, I'm going to kill this orc slowly while we get this door over here. Ooh, failed. 3, failed. I'll get it. Give me a sec. Just give me 1. Oh, man. Good, we got it. Genius. It might look like I'm plus 25, but the 25 doesn't matter. What matters is I rolled basically a 1. Oh, man. That's funny. Oh, man, these paralyzing effects are cool. Is that, like, do you have a paralyzing item? That's kind of neat. I'm so used to just seeing paralyzing effects coming from Arcane Archer that just the idea of seeing it in another class is just strange to me, almost. I'm gonna pull the Cleric up and put him on, like, aggressive or whatever. So he'll actually start helping out. Also, sometimes be aware that your Arcane Blasts and other spells will sometimes just disappear on you. And that is just going to happen. There's nothing you can do about that. There's, like, some kind of disconnect in the server or something. It causes that to happen relatively frequently. Oh my god. I cannot kill this guy. He just keeps making all his reflex saves. Golly wolly. Hey, Arcane Supremacy. So I crit that guy. Gonna fly through this door. Bogey. He's resistant to something, but you know he's not resistant to? Force damage. There we go. And then it's the Worm Cult Impalers in the back that I can't really hit because they're jerks and they have evasion. Monsters with evasion are just always terrible and always make you feel bad. That's the whole purpose, is to make you feel bad when you play any kind of caster. It's like, oh, your DCs just aren't high enough? Wow. That's a really good scimitar. Oh, and it's got the force critical on it. That's kind of cool. Where's the paralyzing on it? It's really weird. I don't see the paralyzing effect on it. I see it in the name. When I look at the side, it's not, the name paralyzing's not in it, and there's no paralyzing effect on this list. Very strange. Oh man, I just got disease removed. That's awesome. There's two paralyzing scimitar? Oh, there it is. Festival Icy Burst Paralyzing. Yeah. That's not fair. DC 17? Man, these guys never fail my DCs, and my is probably higher than 17. I say never. I still hit them all quite a lot. Oh, hey look. I'm not gonna die to that. I'm not an idiot. Oh, I am. That's not true. I am an idiot, but I don't want to die to that. Alright. Now, monsters having like 800 health is kind of bad for your burst caster type. Unfortunately, my impulse spell power is not as high as I'd like it to be. I only have 188 on my force spell power. Are we able to get this chest? I don't know if it's trapped or not. Is it trapped? Skill boost +6 bonus to all skills. Nothing spawning, so I'm assuming that it's free. We can get it. I'm not opening it. I'm not a rogue. Oh. Oh, negative levels. Oh, okay. Yeah, this character does, this one doesn't have full restores. Hey! That's what I'm talking about. Treasure chest. Rock and roll, everybody. No, we body blocked it, the force damage. And character still does a decent amount of damage. I'm still killing a lot of stuff, but I do run out of mana quite frequently, even when just spamming my spell-like abilities. Reflex save. Yeah, really, I just need to work on getting my my DCs higher. When I hit level 15, which I will soon, I'll be taking Heighten, which will bump up the DCs of my Arcane Blast by 4 and my Arcane Bolt by 6, which, as I said before, which is decently high. Like, plus 6 to your DC is nothing to shake your head at. And it's free as well, because spell-like abilities are not affected by the increased spell cost of regular spells, or of metamagic feats. So, no increased spell cost is very nice for me. So I'm going to try to fight guys in the Ice Storm, although I'm going to give myself a... Oh, hey, look at that. This guy's no interest in actually fighting in the Ice Storm. They're like, hey, what? Ice Storm? Let's go be ranged and fight in outside of it. Because they're jerks. Like, the AI just knows. They knows that the Ice Storm is bad. Oh, that looks bad. No, thank you, Warg. Huh? Oh, there we go. Himothy said he's going to be joining soon. But I don't see Himothy. Well, I think we just might have to finish this part. So yeah, the character plays pretty well. It's an interesting concept. Like I said, could be better executed. Could be better executed by pretty much just using other spells. If I increased the amount of spells that I picked, that'd be better, but I didn't do that, so that's fine. Gotta make sure to pick up your remnants. That's how you get these crowns, boys and girls. You gotta pick up all your remnants. No traps here, so we'll be good. No trap, no trap, no trap. Throw down a haste on my comrade. And now, because I'm running low on mana, I'm just gonna go fight the boss. Actually, no, I gotta kill all the extra shit. I forgot, you gotta kill the bone knitters so they don't heal the boss. Because I don't have the kind of mad DPS to just rush down one guy. Ooh, look at that damage. Is that all the healers? I think it's all the healers. Cool. Oh, he has evasion too! Oh. Oh, I'm not even gonna do any damage, am I? Oh, look at the evasion. I love it. Oh well, he's dead. That's something you can't control. Alright, so now the quest is over. Head in, grab our wonderful treasure chest, and because I'm a wizard, I get that awesome dimension door. Cold weapon effect of glaciation. That's neato. So I'm going to toss out my dimension door. Teammate walks through. I'll go through as well. And then we're good. On to the next one. Cabal for 1. As I said, character's pretty fun. It's interesting because it is a bit harder than playing a regular wizard, which is already hard enough. There is the ultra challenge mode of trying to play this character. Did I not pick up any of the quests? I didn't. I didn't pick up any of the quests, did you? Sweet. I did not even think about it. Ooh, perfect. Cabal for 1. Yeah. So the character's a good concept. Makes it hard. It would be extreme hard mode if I was trying to play with hey, come here. If I was trying to play with like a non-Warforged, not being a Warforged, it would basically be impossible. I don't think I'd ever play the character. Because remember, I'm also not using Necromancy for the purpose of not using Necromancy, because you see pretty much every other wizard using Necromancy. So the idea... Oh, no, I get knocked down. That's why Displacement is good. Gotta love Displacement. And Grunt Brooks, bruh, agreed, give me the relic. I would rather him disable all the traps for me. Hey, Alt-Tab. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are inside a Cabal for 1. Fly around the corner. Bam! He comes around. Coming on the inside. Throwing down the wonderful Force Blasts. Ooh, Force Blast. It's Force Blast? It's Arcane Blast. It's something Blast. You'll have a blast with Arcane Blast. The spell. I like that. It makes the save, but I still get the critical hit, so it still takes the extra damage. I also like the fact that when I have this cold fire shield on, I don't take any damage. Kinda good. Welcome, welcome, Mortician. We're inside a Cabal for 1. There we go. The party is forming, everybody. That's what I like. I like getting pumped up. I like it when everyone just starts to join, you know? Like, he gets the ball rolling. You get like a whole crew. And when everything's all clumped up like this, I'm actually doing a little bit better. It's quests like Feast or Famine, where the monsters aren't really clumped. Makes it a bit harder. Wait, did the rare not spawn? Oh no, he did. Oh yeah, that mass hold person. That feels really good. I gotta put that button somewhere. I don't know what I'm gonna keybind that to. Oh, I could keybind that to this. Cool. Now I can mass hold person. Really useful spell when throwing into a room. So I'm gonna try to do that. You can totally go for the chest if you want. That's some manly shit, yo. Oh, baby. I'm not gonna knock it. Rolling a 3. Okay. Stupid cleric is just gonna AFK on top of it into the trap and die. Whatever. Unfortunately, there's a shrine in here that nobody ever uses, so I'm gonna enjoy using that. Oh yeah. I love like when monsters just kind of like are just scrambling to try to get to you because you're just jumping over them. That's a fun feeling. Except I don't like it when monsters have evasion. I know the obvious answer is to get higher DCs, but come on, why you gotta be like that? Why you gotta be like that? Now, the very unfortunate reality of the situation is that I can't take, even though I get a feat at level 15, I can't actually use that feat on adamantine armor, because, unfortunately, I don't have the ability to reduce my arcane spell failure to 0. Not until I get to level 15 can I do that. Or level 16. So when I take level 15, I'm actually going to be taking toughness, and then after that, we'll be able to, when I hit level 16 and I can get a slot my gem in a socket, I'll be able to take another level of something else. Or I'll be able to go back and swap out the feat. And then I'll be able to finally have my adamantine plate armor as a wizard. Important part of the equation. You can't play a wizard without your full adamantine plate armor. You know what I'm saying? How does he make a reflex save when he's paralyzed? I don't know, man. That's fishy. That's fishy to me. Something you're denied your dexterity to your reflex saves when you're paralyzed because you lose your dexterity bonus. There we go. Just drop an ice storm on those guys. They'll die. Oh, it's an awesome feeling. Look at the damage, man. I love that mass hold. Just walk into a room and just boom. I'm not an enchanter by any standards, but I feel like that'd be cool to get some stuff so I could actually do some sick ass enchantments. Enchanting spells. Just walk into a room, mass hold monster. I'm gonna haste my guys because they can use haste a lot more than I can use my mana to deal damage. That's one of the things I never quite understood of a lot of people that play Wizard, and I hope that all the people watching me will take from this. There is no higher DPS spell in the entire game than haste. Unless everybody has speed items already, at which point it doesn't really do anything. But if they don't already have speed items, what haste provides for you is a 15% increase in damage in every single melee player. That's awesome. Now it also gives 1% double strike, so it's really kind of hard to calculate the exact increase in damage, but needless to say, it's pretty good. Oh no, it gives dodge, it doesn't give double strike. But needless to say, it's a pretty good effect, especially if you're playing as a melee character that doesn't already have it. Now, of course, it's not exclusively melee. Range can use it as well. But melee benefit way more from haste, just because when you got a guy that has 2 weapons and attacks twice as fast, it's pretty good. It also just feels better, you know? Have you ever played with haste and then, you know, especially if you're playing a high-level character, and you have the legend or the epic feat that makes it so you're always hasted, and then you get bumped down to just being, you know, level 10, you know, re-rolling your character, and then you walk around with just your silly, like, attack. It's not going to do very much. Oh man, 2 Bomberman Hero songs in a row. Good game, if you haven't played it. Hey, this guy saves. Gardeck Brent Smasher. That's annoying. That's okay, that's what we got guys for. Give me some Voice of the Master. Crucible next. Perfect. Then we're gonna leave. Today I'm going to show you how to do all the crucibles, so if you don't know how to do the entire thing off by heart, don't worry, watch the Strimstream and you will learn. If you don't know at all how to do the maze in any capacity, that's totally fine. Just follow me, and we'll get through all right. I don't know how that was supposed to sound. I don't know if that sounded good or not. I mean, I really love this crown. I love having the champion crown. That's awesome. I'm so happy the champion hunter came back. They were there at one point during the summer, and I was like, oh, I don't really have enough. Sorry, I got distracted. I like throwing big balls of death at monsters. Yeah. Where's my hireling? Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I love this champion crown. It's so cool. During the summer, whenever, when it was actually available, it was such a cool effect. It was like, oh cool, you get this like little crown above your head, and it makes you look like you're one of them champion monsters. That's kind of nifty. Like that was it. It was literally like, oh, that's kind of nifty. Dude, it's so freaking cool having this like flaming thing above my head. Oh, I just feel like a total boss, you know? I love it. Now I'm a little tall, granted. My cleric hireling's gone. That's weird. No. I had the option to go get the tomes to get the extra stats, but what's more important than the stats is feeling good. That's the most important stat, is your feel good stat. So my feel good stat is really high. And also this enhances your charisma, because your charisma, you know, it's how beautiful you look, that kind of thing. So this enhances your charisma, obviously. So my charisma is very high on this character, thanks to this. My self-confidence is just like bursting out of my character's seams. We have 3 people? We can do the entire quest with 3 people, that's fine. Alright. So the most thing is getting the Diplo and the other stuff. So do I have a diplomacy item? I think I do. I don't know. I have level 15 diplomacy item. I don't have a diplomacy item. Well, it's okay. I put points in diplomacy for a reason. So we'll go and we'll add a bunch of buffs. We'll talk to the guy in diplomacy. Failure. No, come on. No, come on. I want to get... Yeah, thank you. Give me that. That's right. Don't worry, I will show you the maze every single life. I don't want to listen to the song. Yeah, I can't diplo this guy, so that's going to be annoying. I don't have enough diplo. Unfortunately, my robot is not very, my robot's not very intimidating or scary. So, alright, great. They're all ready. I'm set on my course. Tell your guys to do the bidding. So they're all going to go do whatever, that's fine. Doesn't really matter. We don't actually need that. Do we need anything else? I don't think so. I think we're pretty good. I'll give my guys haste, so I can get them both. I'll also pop open a Greater Hero for each player. Here we go. Always make sure you have your cold shield. There's almost no situations where monsters will hit you for cold damage. So cold shield is way better than fire shield. It's cool. So I love this quest because you go and you walk around, you're like, ooh, box and stuff. You round the corner and then, whoa, there's a million guys and they're all gonna fight you, but then they get hit by the arcane blast and they're all dead. And it feels really good. Except when they make their saves. That's what melee is for, though. Melees don't have to worry about saves. Oh. Welcome, welcome. We're just starting the Crucible.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Should have updated this. We're starting Crucible. Yeah. Yeah, as I said, if you don't know where to go, just follow the big glowing robot.
Oh, I'm golden. It's all good.
No, it's because we're already in the maze, that's all.
Oh, that's fine. You guys got someone who knows the maze, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I do. Alright, so first step, you move to the right and you get somebody to stand on I. And then you, not being the person who stands on eye, go back because it goes back to the door that's just behind you. And then you kill these guys! Oh my god, these monsters! You kill them, you pick up the crest, you grab your rubble, and you walk back this way. And then you go back the other path, past where I was. Oh no! And there's a guy who's gonna kill you. And once he's dead, you tell the person to hit I again. So essentially what you did is you went through the door, you pull the lever, you go back, and then you go forward after pulling the other lever. Bam! Oh my god, you kill the orcs and the minotaurs, and it's actually just orcs, it's not minotaurs at all. Perfect. So now you have 2 crests for doing nothing. You tell it to hit I again, you're going to head back out to the beginning. But while you're here, because you're already at one of the sockets, you can right-click it, and there's a chance you can add your socket into there. Once that's done, you're going to head back over here, tell the guy to hit I, and then follow. Die. I just like hitting guys that are up on the air. Oh, gotta smash everything. Smashy smashy, as they say. So then you come back out. When you hit the K door, you're going to turn right, past the K door, keep checking for barrels. Oh no, a cloven jaw guy! Great. Alright, somebody on K. I'm going to assume that's Alt-Tab who's on K. Stand at the door here, where there's the 2 K doors. Okay. And the door's going to swing, and you're going to move this way. When this happens, we're going to have K again. So, K again. It's going to open up this door, and we head behind it, just like we did with the I door. And bam, there's hobgoblins, and there's invisible, but it's okay, because they're all dead anyway. It's all about murdering the correct amount of hobgoblins. The correct amount is all of them. If you guessed anything other than the correct amount of hobgoblins, I feel bad for you, son. So you're going to head around this corner, keep hugging through. It's pretty much a straight line here. And when you keep hugging this wall, you're going to be like, oh man, there's an H. Go on, H please. You get somebody to stay on H, they pull the H lever. You walk through this H door, H again, and you're going to go behind the... Oh god, the Cloven Jaw veteran. Man, that was terrifying. I hate when you just find like a champion pops out at you. You walk out. You put your socket in. Once you get your crest in the socket, you're going to step back out to this doorway. You're going to say H. The guy's going to pull the lever, so you've put now in this socket and the socket on the right side, so you've got the north socket and the east socket covered. And then you're going to come back. You're going to say H again, then leave H. It's very important that whoever's on K doesn't leave K. It's like super important. Everyone needs to stay exactly where they've been the entire time. So bam, once we get everyone moved out, we're going to head back to this K door. We're going to say K. He's going to pull it. It's going to switch the doors over. Once he's pulled it, we step through. I'm going to type K again. Leave K. Perfect, and we're right here next to him. Oh, someone's shooting at me. Alright. Disable traps. And then so, you guys leave the north door. I'm going to come back and turn this wheel. So by turning the wheel, it's going to open up the rest of the passage. Oh, go to the north door. The floor is going to fall here.
Got some first timers in here?
I'm not entirely sure. He might have DC'd actually. Oh, maybe not.
Is it me? I'm here.
No, you're here. Oh, God. Okay, so the best part when you fight champions, oh my god, corners, holy shit. Whenever you find champions, this spell, Hold Monster, is the best. Make sure you have it quickened, because that guy was coming flying at me, that champion. But hobgoblins, they don't got no will save. They're not very smart. Not like you. You play a wizard. Wizards have lots of intelligence. You're smart. So clearly, Hold Monster is extremely effective against all those monsters. Ooh, welcome, welcome. And we're going to jump across this water here. It's great if you have Featherfall, so it makes you get a little bit more distance. Okay,
Man, I said a remnant disappeared just as I was getting ready to click it.
oh man.
Yeah.
Bam. Perfect. So that's that part.
Who's our swimmer?
I can do it. Alright, so I pull this, and I'm going to quickly run and jump through this test. So essentially, you don't want to break that little barrel right there so you can jump on it, get that extra bit of distance. Watch out for the spinning blade that I just stepped in. Never mind, I'm bad at the video game. I also need a different spell. I'm going to take this one off. I have to rest at the shrine, of course. Who just got that? Let me give this guy the spells. Cool. Yeah, so don't step in the traps. That's generally the trick. That's how you avoid that. I'm gonna get all the breakables in here.
Did anybody talk to the little dude before
Yeah, we did.
doors opened? Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
Bam,
Always
all my
so
spells.
annoying not having the floor broken down.
Yeah, man. Alright, so that's essentially what you're supposed to do. Basically, unlike me, how I died, which is what you're not supposed to do, you're supposed to not die. I forgot to take the swimming spell. Well, isn't that just unfortunate? It's actually really easy if you have Merfolk's Blessing, because the extra swim that you get gives you so much swim you can pretty much ignore the spikes, because you can swim around them. I don't have that spell, because I'm bad at the game. And I forgot to swap it when I was at the shrine, because swapping spells is something you don't do very often when you don't play wizards. Well, what you're supposed to do is swap in your swim spell, so you can actually swim good. There's no really other shrines you can use, so I guess that's the case. No swim spell. No swim spell
Do
for
the
me.
door 6 trick, or we're gonna actually try and do low high whiz.
We definitely don't have high whiz, so we're gonna do the door 6 trick.
Alright.
I can heal, so I'll just do it. Aha!
Shazam.
Your faith is rewarded. Alright, so for this part, so basically what happened there that I totally glossed over, which I'm going to talk about while I kill all these bastard gnolls, essentially, there's like a thing where there's like a book, and it tells you like, hey, by the way, if you're really smart or if you're very wise, you can read the book, and it will give you like some weird cryptic message that makes no sense, and then it'll tell you, okay, this, like, it'll tell you which doors hide death, basically. So you just follow it, and it tells you which doors hide death, and then you're like, okay, cool, I know which doors hide death. So you go to the one that doesn't tell you it hides death,
Oh man.
and then... Oh man, is he dead? Jeez. You go to the one that doesn't tell you it hides death, and then bing, bang, boom! Congratulations,
My
you've
stones stay up top
solved
at
the
least?
puzzle. Hmm. Where did you die?
I fell down into the maze, but I'm trying to see if my stones stayed up top.
Oh, okay.
Yep, sure did.
Cool. I absolutely can't raise the dead because that would be useful. But I'll get you to a shrine.
Alright.
Alright, do we have a person on a wheel? On each wheel? Alright, I can do red. So, yeah. R4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To walk. Cool. That was good. That was good. Yeah, as I was gonna say before, with the whole talking about how to do that puzzle trick, that basically you can pull it, and there's a 1 in 6 chance every time you do it that you'll get it. Sometimes you get it the first try, sometimes you get it after 6 tries, sometimes you get really unlucky, and like improbably unlucky, and you'll never ever ever get it. That was 150 damage. So yeah, sometimes you get improbably unlucky and it just takes you a very long time. However, everybody should be able to get it eventually. The trick is it does hit you, so you can do a weird jumping trick, where if you jump kind of sideways right as you finish opening it, what ends up happening is you don't actually take any kind of damage from it, even though you're totally supposed to take damage.
Appreciate it.
So it's kind of a useful tip. No problemino. I'm gonna do the swim. And before anyone says, but you're a wizard, you can't do the swim. You can't do the swim. Watch me. Chumps. Chumpzilla. I can breathe underwater, so I don't care about the swim. Oh no, I don't have enough swim for this. It's very hard to see as well with my larger body. Oh, did I go the wrong way? Oh, I went the wrong way. Uh... Yeah, there we go. Halfway done. The rest of it's pretty easy to get through, to navigate. There we go. So I'm gonna wait for this one, wait for it to finish blowing. So we let it blow for a little bit, and then we swim through it. I am getting hit a couple times. Kind of unfortunate. If I had the actual swim buff, the Merfolk's Blessing, I'd be able to swim fast enough that I could go against the current, and I wouldn't be able, or I wouldn't get hit by any of those effects. But unfortunately, I don't have that option. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fly around the corner. We're gonna hold person mass on this target group here. Gets pretty much everybody. And with everything held person and dead, kind of. The Soul Howler's really the biggest issue. If it hits you with Disintegrate, you die. Hey, look, heal. Didn't help him. Don't touch the glittering treasure. It curses you, by the way. Now, of course, to select it, for some reason it's very difficult. You have to hit the backspace key, but the backspace key will, in fact, select it for you. Where does that go? It's a hole right there. Ooh. An explosive barrel. I've never seen that area. I wonder what's over there. Anyway, you have the option of swimming out or dedooring out and running around from the beginning. I'm not going to dedoor out and run from the beginning. I'm just going to swim because I'm a man. I'm a real man. I'm a Warforged. So you can hook onto here and wait till it stops spinning. And then once it stops spinning, you can just swim right through without taking any kind of damage. Then it's going to push you very quickly through all these. You just make sure you stay in the middle, you don't take any damage, and then you're going to get clipped on your way out by this turbine. Or you don't get clipped. Woo! Swimming in first person is also an idea. I don't generally play the game in first person, although it does feel like I'm playing an Elder Scrolls type game. Look at me, I'm playing Morrowind. Pew! Could you imagine playing the game like this? That would be really confusing, I'm gonna be honest. Ooh. Alright, I'm gonna try this. This is like... makes it very hard to, like, avoid, champion-type monsters. Champion-type Pokemon. Yeah, take that. Did I miss anything? I don't know, probably. He's gonna spawn a bunch of guys down here. Damn, that feels good. I like that. Oh, and we got Ransack and everything else. Cool. Just the swimming. Or flying in heroic fall of truth. You mean the Storm Reaver or whatever? Yeah. Probably a good idea, actually. What is that called? Storm Reaver's Fate? Heroic fall of truth. Ha! Did I take that? No, I didn't take a spell at all. I didn't even put anything in the spot. That's hilarious. Now, unfortunately, most of the guys in the party are going to do more damage than me, so I'm just going to quickly give them all greater heroism so that they can do more damage than me. I say unfortunately because I'd like to do more damage, I just don't. Spend all my mana buffing my teammates. Bam. Like so. That's a lot of blade barriers. So now I'm going to toss down my equivalent of blade barrier. Ice Storm. Ice Storm for everyone! It lasts a decently long time too. 47 seconds, I think? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to not shoot at the guy that has evasion. And they're all dead. Pick up the key, pick up the key. Alright, I believe I got all the keys and the adventurer pack. Voice of the Master. Make sure you have your Voice of the Master. And then kaboom! 54,621 experience points from a heroic quest. Gotta love it, dude. Gotta love it. And a legendary victory. That's what I'm talking about. I'll do a greater teleport to Giant Hold in the last chest. I don't really want the backstabber gloves because they're kind of bad for this character. I'll get them later if I want them for another life. I don't generally save stuff in between lives unless I find something that I really don't think I'm going to find again.
Which one's next?
Next one will be Madstone Crater. I'm going to very quickly take 15 before I do that.
Said 15?
Yeah, I'm only level 14, so I'm going to take 15 before we do Madstone. I take level 15 because it gives me +6 on my DCs and my spells. So, bam, bam, bam. If anyone has a problem with that, they can have a problem with that. Give me points of swim. So I want Heighten Spell, for sure, as my class feat. The one that's I can take back later is this Spell Focus Evocation. Fantastic. Oh, I get level 8 spells now. I totally forgot about that. I don't have any of these. Well, Auto's Irresistible Dance is a pretty good. So that one's pretty good. Power Word Stun is like kinda good. What does this do? Creature becomes stunned? Creatures with 300 health or more are stunned for 8 seconds. An 8-second stun on for 12 mana. Or sorry, 16 mana. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take Power Word Stun. That seems very, very useful. I could technically use Horrid Wilting. I don't know if that's good. I don't think it's good. I think we're just going to take that. I think maybe Summon Monster 7 as well. Or Summon Monster 8, whatever. I don't care about that. Bam! Gimme that. So I'm level 15. I get more spell slots that I don't care about because I have nothing else to put in those holes. But the most important thing is now I have Heighten Spell. So I'm going to right-click on Heighten, always on for both of these spells. Again, they don't cost any more mana, still only cost 6, but I get that incredible bonus. Because I have 8th level spells that I just unlocked, I'm going to be picking up an extra, what was this, 4? Or, yeah, 6 to the DC of my Arcane Bolt, and an extra 4 to the DC of my Arcane Blast. Plus, because I also just took Evocation Focus, that's technically an extra 7 and 5. Whew. 2 new viewers. Hold on, I'm riding high. I'm currently at 16 right now. Although I like the people that, some of the percentages of the population that watch me don't understand that I have a microphone that actually filters out extra noise. It's kind of cool. So it really only picks up my, it's only designed to pick up my voice. Yeah. On my way to Madstone. So I'm heading out to Madstone Crater. Yeah. So it's kind of cool. I'm glad I'm level 15 now. I've got these extra points. I don't really have time to put them in. I probably should have thought about this better. I'm like trying to do too many things with my brain at the same time. Because I'm rather incompetent, it doesn't work that well. Yeah, so we're gonna pick up the quest that I didn't pick up. That includes this one from Nimbus R. Yorg. Give me that. And the other one that I picked up, because there's Cabal here. And I also have to pick up this one over here. Wait, Blaze? Oh yeah, I have to pick up this one. Madstone. So for the people that don't actually have it, I'll make sure that they get it. Madstone Crater and Prison of the Plains. So everyone gets it. Hey, what's going on, Titan? How you doing today? Still showcasing off this wonderful character build. This should be a lot better now that I have plus 5 to the DCs of my 2 main damage spells. That sounds like a lot. There's a reason for that. Plus 5 to the main damage spells is huge. That is a humongous deal. I probably should have taken some of my level 8 spells, but they really don't matter. Power Word Stun is kind of useful. I could probably use that instead of Hold Monster. What's the cooldown on this? 40 seconds! Well, damn. That's a long cooldown. I don't like that. Oh my god, it's like Madstone Crater in Giant Hold. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, man. Anyway, I'll stop complaining. Yeah. I think I have an item as well that I can equip. Let me see here. Quickly searching my inventory. The inventory screen of my character. I can't equip that yet. I have a item for level 16, gives me plus 7 to my intelligence. So that's an extra 2 points it'll be. So it'll bring me up to a 36, which will be pretty nice. At 16 I also get plus 1 point, so that's kind of good. Evocation Wizard is pretty fun, but keep in mind, this character is not an Evocation Wizard. I do have all the Evocation feats, but I'm missing a lot of the big key Evocation spells. So for example, I don't have Acid Blast. That's Conjuration, ignore that. I don't have Fireball, I don't have Lightning Bolt, I don't have Chain Lightning, a lot of these other great Evocation spells. I'm just not using them. Sunburst could be pretty good. One thing that's really important to note, especially with oh my god, my brain is like melting because I'm trying to like talk and cast all my buffs and stuff. One thing to note that's important with Sunburst is that Sunburst actually scales off of Radiance, so light damage. Light damage is a type of damage that's not force damage, so I can't actually use the spell to deal damage, as unfortunate as it is. But Sunburst is a decently good spell, especially against oozes. It's an awesome ability. No, take this. Yeah. Now that almost nothing is failing the save against the Arcane Blast, I'm going to throw in an Ice Storm here. Oh, he goes invisible. Now the cool thing about Ice Storm is it actually hits the the Ogre Magi while they're invisible, which is what makes it a very unique spell in that it kind of ignores some of the mechanics built into the game. Kinda cool. Not really the reason why I use it, but it is a cool effect. And that actually killed everything, so now we can head over to the next part. I'm gonna send these giants up. Go, giants! They can take our lives, but not our hearts! Charge! And then they run up the hill, and then they run back down, completely insane, and try to kill you. Their charge is short-lived. Kind of disappointing, actually. Whoop! Oh man, I love that look. I love the look of this spell. I love it. Just check it out. I'm like, do, purple ball of death, kaboom! And it gives it this like, almost like, kind of like how like an atom looks, sort of, like those renditions of atoms. I don't know. I think it's very cool. I also love the fact that nothing is making the reflex save anymore. Now, another benefit of using pure force damage is I can pretty much ignore these skeletons. It's like, oh, I don't have the right damage type. Oh wait, no, I'm using force damage, lol. And they get hit by it anyway. I don't have to care about that. Plus, they're pretty big. It's kind of hard to miss. Now, I don't remember if the skeleton enchanter uses shield and night shield. I hope he doesn't, because that would just be unfortunate. If he does end up using either of those spells... Oh no, he didn't use them. If he does end up using either of the spells, I can't dispel him, but I do have disintegrate as a tertiary option. But I just hope he doesn't. Now I'm going to grab me some more coffee. Thanks for coming, Zelax. I tried. I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. Zelax. Well, I'll just open this back up. I'm going to do this in front of monsters, so that way they can kill me while I'm doing this. Madstone. There we go. See, I've got a team. They just do stuff for me. I don't have to do anything. That's the best part about playing Wizard, you know? You just go, oh, haste! Let's go, everybody! Oh, I missed these 2 targets with haste. But just say haste, and then your team goes and kills things, and you just kind of AFK it or whatever. I'm the champion, though. I'm playing champion wizard. Oh, damn! He made his reflex save. What a boss! Oh wait, actually, I should probably be using Evocation Fire here, just because one of the few creatures that actually uses cold damage, Ogre Magi, they use Cone of Cold all the time. So being able to actually avoid that would be a good thing. Get out of here, Giant Skeleton Barbarian. If you haven't played Epics yet, and you decide to go into Epic Elite, Giant Skeletons with that are champions are the most dangerous monsters I've ever encountered in Epic Elite. They do 100 Brazilian damage. They will turn you inside out. They hurt so bad. Oh, what? That's improbable. I just got knocked off the edge. Oh, that's improbable. At least it didn't fall in the lava. Not gonna walk around. I guess that's why I gotta pay attention to the Minotaurs, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I guess I don't pay attention to those Minotaurs quite often enough.
Alrighty.
I get gored.
You already met them?
Yes, we are. We're at the first seer.
Alright, that was a fast 15, but okay, I'll be there in a minute.
No, I said I was taking level 15.
Oh, okay. I totally misunderstood you.
Yeah. But you're right, that was a very fast 15. Eat this, War Mage. I don't got enough for you. I don't got time for you. What? He went invisible again! Oh, I'm AFK, fuck that. That is terrible. Goes invisible twice. What is that? Oh, man. The shenanigans of Giant Hold and Madstone Crater. Whoa, that guy just took bonus damage from my force. I don't even know why. I love the look of this spell. It's just cool, you know? I'm glad they actually made it viable, Because before, it used to do less than half the damage. You couldn't affect it by any meta magic feats, and it was half affected by spell power. So instead of being affected by my 190 spell power, it'd only be affected by 95 spell power, which is kind of bad considering it has a bottom end. A very low bottom end. Solid Fog is still very useful here. I just don't have Solid Fog in my spellbook. I should fix that. Solid Fog's a really good spell. What do I have instead? Ooh, I like all these spells. Guess don't have room for Solid Fog. But I should. But man, I remember using Solid Fog here. It was the best thing ever. This quest was so hard on Elite back in the day. I think one of my favorite fog moments, not only the fact that solid fog was pretty much required for every single raid because it was so overpowered, but even better than that was using, if you remember Hound of Madness, you'd have a sorcerer whose job it was exclusively to cast acid fog on each portal and to run in a circle. So that way everything would get aggroed on the sorcerer, and then people could go around and just killing the mind players to pick up the stones. And the sorcerer would just run in a circle pulling all the beholders and whatever along with it for a ride. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, solid fog clickies. I remember freaking out when you got a solid fog clicky. Oh my god, that was the best. Oh, I got Madstone Rage. So I can't cast spells. Hey, spell-like abilities don't count as spells. Look at that. I can't cast spells. If I press my magic missile button, pressing my 7 on my keyboard, nothing happens. But it's okay, because spell-like abilities don't count. I guess Arcane Blast and Arcane Bolt don't technically count as spells. Interesting. I mean, I'll take it. Don't you worry. And I get the Madstone Rage. Look at that armor class. 33? Oh, baby. Yeah, take that 500 damage. Take that 500 damage, jerk. 600 damage. All crits, all the time. That's what you get when you bet on your boy Strimstream. Showed Light Mace of Kinetic Lore, plus 13. Ooh. That's what I'm talking about. Talk to this dude. Can I buff my team yet? No, I still have Madstone Rage, so I'm gonna have to shrine. I'm gonna shrine real quick. Oh, I can't actually heal myself. That is a predicament with Madstone Rage that I hadn't really thought about the consequences of. I'm gonna put my power word stun on my bar somewhere. I don't know what button it's gonna go on. So really, I'm like out of buttons on the keyboard. Actually, you know what? I don't need to inscribe stuff anymore. So that's a good one. Oh, Shift F is actually a good one because I don't need the melee anymore. I don't really want to fit in Solid Fog, and I can't move something to another layer. It's fine, probably. Buff myself, now that I don't have the Madstone Rage. Madstone Rage is a great ability. I remember when Madstone Rage used to be all the stuff. Madstone Rage is basically like regular Rage, so it gives you strength and constitution, so more damage and more life. Except, not only does it give you strength and constitution, but it also increased your armor class instead of decreasing it, which was amazing at the time. Armor class is very hard to come by, so you had every tank in the game just wanting... Wait, don't want to break Muckbane. What did I say before about breaking something? Oh, you can't power word stun these guys because they're immune to mind affecting abilities, which is what I just tried to do. Well, no. Madstone Rage was awesome, though. Fantastic ability. You got the Madstone Boots out of the Reaver's Fate, and they made it so when you got hit, you had a chance to Madstone Rage yourself, so you get more damage, more health, and you become tankier. The downside is you couldn't cast spells, but whatever. Who cares? Casting spells is totally overrated when you have a two-handed axe in your hand. The only spell I need to cast is Slay. So Shatter the Crystal. I think the Ogre Magi are not insane. And I can stun it. No, I can't stun it. Never mind. I can't stun it because that would be actually breaking through. More bars, more confusion. Nah, man. No power is stronger than bars. If anyone gets that reference, if any one person can tell me where no power is stronger than bars is from, I will give you a prize. Without Googling it. You have 1 minute. You gotta know immediately. Type it in chat, and you get a prize. No power is stronger than bars. It's an awesome reference. It's something very specific. Like, very specific.
The seer calls out, keep them at bay.
Hey, what's up? Oh my god, spell resistance. Enemy got it? No power is stronger than bars? Anybody? Come on, it's classic. Ugh, you guys.
Another crazed storm's hard fall.
The question is,
But at least they're numbered.
who says, or where is the quote, no power is stronger than bars from? No power is stronger than bars. Oh man, that's like super nostalgia for me. It is video game related. It is, for those of you pondering your brain. If you can tell me where that's from, you win a prize. I'm gonna reveal the answer in 1 minute. So you have 1 minute to get the answer in. Oh, don't turn invisible. Ah! I hate that. Light myself on fire again, and we wait patiently. Man, see, I've killed so many things. I don't even know when I killed so many things. Nobody got it? Nobody got it? It's been a minute. Alright. No power is stronger than bars, guys. Back in the day, the old 2007, there's a video game called The Lord of the Rings Online. And the first raid, Heligrod, was shit trash. So as a result, the game had to come out with some... the game developers at Turbine Games had to come out with a new raid. So they created the Rift, which is arguably the best raid ever made for that entire game. The first two bosses were Bars and Zerm. Two special new types of trolls. The, was it the Gorthrog trolls? And when you went to fight Bars, he had a bunch of different vocal cues. And one of them was, no power is stronger than Bars, so he would scream that, at which point he would target one player in the party and he would drain their power to 0. Power is the equivalent of mana, or whatever you want to call it. So he would drain your mana to 0. And first he would scream, no power is stronger than Bars, before he did that. And there you go, no power is stronger than Bars. Did you know that? No. Did you need to know that? Probably not. But now you do. It's how I make sure everyone knows I'm a diehard Turbine fan, because I can quote really obscure stuff from their games. I'm not going to say I'm Turbine's biggest fan, because I think that's a fallacy, but, I'm pretty close. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're on Madstone Crater. Can I get these guys in a web? We're gonna find out. Oh, I can web the giant skeletons? That's goofy. I didn't know you could do that. You played the game to level 40. I tell ya, the game's had some pretty good points. Let me buff my guys as I run around. Let me buff you. Alt-tab, buff my guys. Miria's here as well. Get some buffs. I'm going to quickly shrine. You guys keep going. Lord of the Rings Online had a lot of potential to it. They had really cool, unique character classes and a very interesting way of setting up the system. Every character scaled from power, whereas like other games kind of separated a little bit. But the big thing that they did right in that game is the trait system, so that people could differentiate the way they played their character, and you didn't always need a certain thing. Now, of course, with the exception when the game came out, there's only one healer, which was the minstrel, so you always needed to have 2 minstrels in every single raid every time you did any raid, and the only tank class in the game was the guardian, so you also had to have 1 or 2 guardians every single time you raided. Although they didn't really have any 2 tank fights, it was mostly just 1 tank fights, so you only really needed to have 1 guardian, but you needed to have 2 minstrels no matter what. They also had different options. Like, they had a character class, the lore master, whose job was just largely to give people their power back. You had burglars, who had the option to damage or debuff, and the whole game also had an entire system of classes called the support. So most of the games have 3. They have the healer, DPS, and tank roles. Lord of the Rings Online also gave you the support role, which was filled by the captain, the burglar, the lore master, and also, if you wanted to, you can also play a support hunter, although most people just play it pure damage because it's way easier to hit the keyboard and just hit one button over and over and do all the damage, like you're some kind of ape. And it sounds bad, like I'm going to be making fun of all the hunters. I'm going to do the top solo. Sounds bad, like I'm making fun of hunter players, and I am. I am making fun of hunter players. But anyway, really great, cool system, cool class. I really liked it. Cool classes.
Okay, I'm back here, man.
My favorite part about the entire game was when they introduced the warden class.
Just hang out here where I'm at.
Yeah, the way they use the minstrels to like how they use their music to actually kill stuff. That was kind of neat. It's kind of weird. But anyway. Sorry, I'm just trying to type to Alt-Tab so he knows what to do. Yeah, so it was kind of cool. The best part was the Warden class. So the Warden class was one of the greatest classes ever made by any person in any video game ever, and I will defend this till the end of time. So while every other single MMO had the same kind of strategy, and I played a lot of the shitty MMOs that were out there at the time, all of them had the same kind of strategy. You had a bunch of different classes, you had your range class, your magic class, whatever, and then you got skills as you leveled up, and those skills did specific things, and every kind of class, there was like, you had like kicks to interrupt stuff, and every class had some kind of heal, and everything was very standardized. All of that, great. Everyone did that all at the same time. But Lord of the Rings, when they came up with the Warden class, they said, you know what? Like, they were just sitting there, and they just had this brilliant idea. They went and they bought themselves a Street Fighter machine, and they put it in the office. And they just sat there, and they plugged in the Street Fighter machine, and they had tournament after tournament. And they kept playing Street Fighter. And they kept playing Street Fighter to the point where, basically, they didn't work on the game anymore. And then they're like, man, 10 years later, they're just still playing Street Fighter, and like, man, we played so much Street Fighter. I don't want to play Lord of the Rings Online anymore. And then somebody's like, wait, guys, if we like Street Fighter so much, let's make a character that plays just like Street Fighter. So they took their, controller, and they're like, oh shit, how do we do this? And they created a character class that has 3 buttons. Well, technically 4 buttons. A green button, a red button, a yellow button, and a combo button. And you use the green, red, and yellow in different orders, and then you hit combo to actually activate your skill. Sort of like how the monk works in Dungeons & Dragons Online. Except you can have straights, you can have all sorts of different combos to use all your abilities. So if you wanted to do an ability that was an interrupt, like your kick, you can't just press a button on your keyboard and have it ignore your global cooldown as though you're playing, another game, like World of Warcraft or something like that. Or you can't, or like at the Champion, how you can just hit Clawburn and it's off the cooldown. You can't do that with the Warden. You have to hit red, then you have to hit green, and then you have to hit combo. So you had to prep everything, and you had to think 10 steps ahead all the time. Interesting concept. I loved it. Wardens were the hardest tanks to play because they used medium armor, they didn't use heavy armor, so they took the most damage, but they were the most rewarding to play. The more attentive you were to the way that your character class played, so whether you were maintaining all your self-buffs, they also had an unbelievable self-healing, which made them extremely strong, and they had the most interesting ability in the game, which was called Conviction, which was a full party heal. So they're the tank, right? And they used an ability which allows them to heal their entire party, And not only does it heal, it's also an aggro steal. So it would heal the healer and convert aggro that the healer has accrued onto the warden. So wardens could pretty much take aggro off of anybody and could keep aggro off the healers without having to actually go help the healers. It was awesome. It was a super cool character class to play. There were a lot of ways you could abuse the character class, and at the end of the day, because Guardians were so much easier to play, you almost never saw any good Wardens out there. The server that I was on had 2 good Wardens, me and the other Warden that was in our guild. So, like, we kind of had the monopoly on Wardens. But it was the coolest character class I've ever seen in any video game, and you can still play a Warden today. At some point, I will for sure be like leveling up in that game. I've had such an itch to go play some more Warden. I'm going to be leveling up in that game and playing some Warden, so I will show that off at some point. Of course, not during my designated DDO stream time. I use that for DDO. But if you happen to be sitting here and you're like, man, this guy's Strimtom, he's this smooth talker, he's really fun to listen to, he also shows off the game pretty good, he's got the keyboard and the hand skills, where can I catch this guy on other times? Well, I tell you, there's actually a way you can catch me when I'm not here at my one designated time that I stream per week. You can catch me right here at twitch.tv/Strimtom. So if you're bored right now and you're like, man, they're just running up a piece of staircase, what can I do at the same time as I watch the stream? Please click that link, follow me, and you'll be able to see it when I stream at the very odd hours and, you know, do all sorts of different types of stuff. I don't do anything bad or inappropriate. I mean, I am a role model. But it's good. It's good times. Of course, I love streaming DDO, and oh my God, there's so many monsters! Oh, jeez, oh God, there's like so many monsters. Did you guys see that? Sorry, that was scary. That was a lot of monsters. That guy's dead.
Yeah, we just did that one wretchedness.
Holy cow, that was terrifying. But I do love to stream this game, and I do stream this game quite often. It is my favorite game of all time, don't you worry. I love playing this game. This is the best game ever. However, you know, sometimes I do stream some of the games, sometimes, so. Like I said, Lord of the Rings Online. I'm a huge Turbine fan. I also stream AC2 every once in a while, which is a game no one's heard of, no one cares about, and nobody loves. But I do. Wow, I forgot he's immune to spells of 4th level or lower, so I can only disintegrate him. That's my only damage spell, is Disintegrate. I'm gonna fall down this cliff here, so he doesn't fight me. Disintegrate! Haha! It works. Make sure to put on your Voice of the Master! Put on a Voice of the Master, and we're gonna step through the portal, talk to Blaze Arind. Arind! Blaze Arind! Trial by fire is next. Gotta type that in chat. Everyone can see it. Everyone knows it's trial by fire. And we're good. But yeah, what I want to see if I can do it is, because I have my PlayStation controller here, I also have like a regular controller. I'm going to set up the Warden stream at some point, but I want to see if I can actually get it onto a controller. So, what build is this? This is the 100% Force Wizard build. So I'm playing a Wizard, and I'm using only spells that deal Force or untyped damage. The only exception being Ice Storm, because technically it does scale off of Force Impulse damage, and if without it, I would have torn my eyes out of my head because of how boring it was to level, or how tedious and difficult it was to level. Soloing with this character can be very difficult. Ice Storm made it a lot easier, so I made that little concession. I did that. But in general, the character is meant to just test out as much of the force damage as possible, the build possibilities. This all came about because, as I said before, they revamped this tree here. So basically, what they had were these interesting, neat little spells. They had Arcane Bolt, and they had, what's this one here? Arcane Bolt and Arcane Blast. Really cool spells. Really cool spells. Fantastic abilities. But the problem is they did 0 damage. They had 50% spell power scaling, which meant that if you had 200 spell power to increase your damage by 200%, or, yeah, to increase by 200%. Unfortunately, they only scaled with half of that, so they only go up by 100%. Additionally, they were unaffected by your metamagic feats. So if you're like, man, the DC's pretty low because this counts as a second level spell, I wish I could put Heighten on this. Well, too bad, you were out of luck. Well, don't worry. just on the last patch, they decided, hey, they're going to update it and add all of the different effects to it from all your meta magic feats. They don't increase the mana cost, and they do now use full spell power scaling. So as a result of these changes, these spells do hilarious, ridiculous amounts of damage. Now that I have Quicken, their DCs are not Quicken Heighten, their DCs are very, very high. Look at that, I just killed everybody with one spell. And it's on a 6-second cooldown. Almost nothing is immune to arcane damage, or impulse damage, or whatever you want to call it, force damage. Now, of course, the downside is it's untyped, of course, so it's not going to be dealing with the regen effects of these guys. What do you call them? These trolls. But it's okay. It does so much damage it kills them anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know how to do it. I'm not some kind of programmer, but I will figure out how to get a warden to play on a controller, like an Xbox controller or something, and then I'm gonna do it on a stream. I'll probably have like a controller cam to prove that I'm actually doing it. It'll be really cool. The problem is that's pretty far down the road because I'm working on some real life stuff. Seeing though, sometimes the game it's really fun. You know, real life can get in the way of your video gaming, so I'm doing what I can to minimize the real life that I do so I can maximize the time I spend in this game playing it and getting lives. It's like playing in exactly. It's like playing Enlightened Spirit Warlock where you get these cool bursty spells that deal a lot of damage, except instead of always being good and being able to affect all creatures, there are times where you're actually bad. However, this character can heal itself a little bit more, and that's it. That's about it. It's pretty much the same. Take that. Also, Chain Missiles is a pretty rad spell, and I believe this character has way more single target than a Enlightened Spirit Warlock, largely because I get Disintegrate, which does hilarious levels of damage. Ooh. Look at that. Also, I think my burst is a little bit higher than Enlightened Spirit Warlock. I think. I don't know, actually. I did play a lot of Enlightened Spirit Warlock. I love that. I play Tank Warlock, but usually when I play Warlock, so I'm talking about like 1 level of Fighter, 1 level Favorite Soul, so I can pick up all like the shield feats from the Fighter. I pick up Favorite Soul, so I get the Scourge, which gives you an extra 60 light spell power, and then 18 levels Warlock, of course, and that's some good tank. I tell you that much. I'm not on fire right now. That's a problem. These rocks. Goodbye. Oh, I gotta go first person for this. Gotta play me some DDO first person. Been a break file, so yes, it looks kind of broken. Level 15. It looks like you have Shirati. Yeah, it looks like I have Shirati, but I'm actually just killing everything with my ridiculous damage. The cool thing is the force damage. I love the big poof. I love that big poof. This guy doesn't care about the damage though. That's kind of disappointing. Yeah, let's go kill the leader. Is everyone inside? All 5 of us? Yeah, everyone's inside. Good. The best part about playing a wizard is I can do stuff like, hey look, Ag, here you go, have some haste. And he's gonna love that. Now obviously warlocks can take haste, but no warlocks take haste because they're selfish jerks. I do, but most warlocks I know do not take haste. Because they are, in fact, truly selfish jerks. I mean, why wouldn't you? You're making pacts with demons for personal gain. Why wouldn't you not take haste for personal gain? Know what I'm saying? Alright. Now, the disappointing thing is Disintegrate's actually not acid damage. So, this guy, Roxier, I can't actually stop his, unless I let him wail on me. I'm going to get rid of that first person mode. Unless I let him wail on me, I can't actually disable his healing. Which is kind of disappointing. Maze of Madness. Deft healing lore. Yeah, it's totally useless. Yeah, it looks like I have Shirati active. Actually, I don't think I'm going to use Shirati. Oh, actually, that's a trick. That's a trick of the mind. It's an illusion, as they say. That's, I'm baffling you with confusion. You see, it's a trick. And I will show you it. I will show you it. Correct. On the side here, my meta magic feats that I only have active, I don't have maximize or anything else on. I just have quicken spell. But my meta magic feats are actually many. I also have extend. I also have heighten. But those are also not active. There's a trick being involved. A game afoot. The trick that I'm referring to, especially with a lot of the spells, the only one I have active on is quicken, because I want to make sure I have all of my abilities quickened all the time. However, my spells that are important, if you didn't know this, you can actually right-click a spell and set default casts for it. So I right-click Arcane Blast. It's kind of hard to see because it's got stuff over top, but I have Empower set to Always On, Heighten set to Always On, Maximize set to Always On, and Quicken set to Always On. So my Arcane Blast, which costs 6 spell points, is Empowered, Maximized, Heightened, and Quickened for 6 points. Now, unfortunately, I don't actually, what I should have, absolutely, is I should have 3 past lives to give me Colors of the Queen, times 3. I just haven't done that yet because I'm lazy. Because now that you have to level to 30, it takes a really long time to level up. And if you're not playing a character that's really, really easily able to solo, like I might just do that on a bunch of Warlock lives. And just burn through a bunch. The Epic Destiny I'm actually planning on running in, surprisingly, is Magister. I have a lot of reasons for wanting to run in Magister. Largely because I can get, out of Shirati, I can pick up Prism, Rainbow, and Double Rainbow, just from, like, my fate points. But more importantly, I actually want to be in Magister, because Magister has a bunch of really neat effects. Hey, is this disabled? I assume so. I don't want to die. Magister has a bunch of neat effects. Largely this Null Magic Strike gives all my spells a 15% chance to cause a Dispel magic effect on my target, and so they can't cast anything. Additionally, you get Arcane Tempest, which does hilarious damage. So the two combined, it just seems like it could be really, really good. Alright, so go in there and disable the trap, but then do not pull a lever. Alright, so go through the next door and pull the lever.
So, you being a Mormon, is all this like acceptable in the church? Fuck no.
No, not one of those ones, the ones in the next room.
Something that they practice.
No, now it won't work. You have to pull that lever again.
Only bachelor parties for Mormons. They're dirty. They just like to hide it. Hide more.
Okay, you should be able to get out if we pull the lever a couple more times. Sorry, I got distracted because I'm pulling levers. Okay, this doesn't work. Alright, Alright, I need you to... Yeah, I need you to pull... The problem is... Okay, hold on. Pull that lever, please. Okay, so he pulls that lever, I pull this lever. There we go. Alright. So where am I? You're right, no tea, but I'm a robot. Robots can't drink tea. Easy. What are we talking about here? Oh yeah, other side. Hey Stream, did you watch the Legendary Shroud run last night? Unfortunately, I did not. I had to get an early bed last night. I had to get up very early and drive across the city for work this morning. And then I had to drive home, and should have just in time to do the stream, and then I get to do that again tomorrow. I don't normally work across the city, but it's just one of those things that sometimes you do what you gotta do, you know what I'm saying? You gotta, whoa! Oh, look at all these monsters! Oh, they get so much damage! Sorry, I got really excited. Yeah, no, unfortunately, I did not watch Legendary Shroud Run. That you did. Ooh, I like that. I like this. Look at this guy. He's like, ooh, I'm held. I can't do anything. Okay, apparently he can do stuff because he gets healed by his dudes. No. Oh right, he's not a monster or not a person. He's a monster. That sounds rude, but it's not. But no, I didn't watch it. So you're right. There's no T, but the arcane. Ooh, focus goggles of concentration. Define. What is that? Define. Concentration of insightful concentration. Do you see this? This is an 18 concentration item for level 15. One of the builds I want to do, 100%, 110% is the Henshin Mystic monk, and Henshin Mystic scales extremely heavily off of concentration. That's an awesome item for the Henshin Mystic build. It's basically the same, like Legendary Shroud is basically the same concept of as regular Shroud, except instead of the, what was it, Eritrakos being inside the Shroud, because like he's trying to steal some portal thing from the elves. Instead, he's trying to steal the codex or something. I don't really remember the story. Basically, he's just stealing a second item, and he ends up going back to the Shroud again because he has to complete it or something. If you do all the quests before it, so you do the Archon chain and you do the Devil's Gambit chain. Devil's Gambit chain is awesome. It has it's one of the coolest looking spells. They also add slads. I'm not gonna lie, I've never done Legendary Shroud. I never did it. When I hit 30, I TR, so I don't do it. Are you thinking of Tempest Spine? Or not Tempest Spine, Von 3? Because it's got a pretty high strength requirement. Good work, everybody. Go ahead, hit Town, Sell, Repair, and then Prison of the Plains is the next one on the list. Ooh, another legendary victory. I love that. So yeah, this is sick. I love this. Focus goggles of concentration. That's 18 concentration. When I get to actually use that on my monk, man, that's a huge bump to concentration. And we're gonna teleport everybody to Giant Hold. So they'll know. 85 on Legendary Elite? That's a high strength check. My god, dude. That's a really high strength check. Oh, 75. No. Eritrakos is not a good guy. No. Eritrakos is still a bad guy. He's one of those consistent bad guys. He's evil, but he's evil because he loves being evil. He also loves hurting people. He's a great bad guy. Yeah, no problem. I thought it was 85. I'm like, that just seems too high. But yeah, Eritrakos is like, he's just an awesome character in this game. One of my favorite parts is just in the first shroud, like the one that the stupid Eladrin totally betray you and kill you so you can go fight Eritrakos. And then afterwards, and they kill you so you can go and collect his, like, kill his soul basically so they can capture him. He sees your entire dead party, and he's so angry that he resurrects you so he can kill you. I love that. I just love that whole concept. He's like, what? No, you're not allowed to be dead. I get to kill you. Like, that was just the coolest thing ever. I love that. And you have to fight all the lieutenants at the same time. It was great. Unfortunately, my intelligence is not 50-ish. It's 34. So I'm pretty far away on that intelligence check. Oh, God. Oh, Jarliths. Take that. Gotta love those explodey balls of doom. Explodey balls. Balance knockdown, balance success 1. That's an odd number there. Oh, I gotta put up a thing for Prison of the Plains. Oh, baby. Prison of the Plains. So I get more friends. I want more friends to come play with me in the Prison of the Plains. You know, it's not really actually a very nice place to go. So maybe I don't want more friends to come play with me. I can't tell. What came with? So, the level 30 update added a couple of things. They they added a bunch of new feats that are kind of important. So essentially, spellcasters were really lagging behind. So they added a bunch of new feats. I can show them off here that are hilarious and ridiculous amounts of damage. This is the most important one for me. The legendary stuff I think is kind of boring because it's just new items, whatever. This I think is the most important thing because this is a huge rebalance. So they added these feats here, these epic feats, Master of whatever, and they increase the cast level of your spells. So as an example, say you're playing a fire sorcerer. You get Master Fire, which makes your Burning Hands, Scorch, and Fireball spells gain plus 10 to their maximum cast level. So your Fireball, which used to have a maximum cast level of 10, which would then go up if you're playing a fire sorcerer, because I think you can get up to 13, can now go up to 23, which essentially doubles its base damage. I actually made a chart that shows the increase in damage for most spells. And almost every spell in the game with each one of these for the individual class, so like Master of Music or Master of Earth, that kind of thing. Especially Master of Music is one of the biggest ones because he makes your Shout and Greater Shout have plus 10 to the master caster levels. You saw ridiculous effects on some of the character classes. Across the board, if you take that feat on your associated casting class, you're looking at about a 50% increase in all of your base damages as a minimum. And it can go even higher, up to some classes getting even a 100% increase in their base damage. I don't know if it's too good. I haven't played a caster class up that high. This life is designed to test out one of those feats. I can do that because this is too easy. I can look at that while I'm killing people. This one is going to be testing out the Master of Knowledge feat. So Master of Knowledge makes it so that my Arcane Bolt and my Arcane Blast, up, down, down, up, a-do. Master Knowledge makes it so when I cast Arcane Blast or Arcane Bolt, I get a stacking buff that lasts for 6 seconds, and it stacks up to 30 times, and it gives me, what is this, 3 spell power and 2 spell crit damage. So at 30 stacks, that's 90 spell power, which is a lot of spell power, and 60% spell crit damage, which is a ridiculous amount of spell crit damage. That's so much. I don't even know how to quantify that much spell crit damage. 60% increased spell crit damage? Are you crazy? That's so much damage. And it's really easy to keep up because both of these abilities, while they're both on a 6-second cooldown, they're very easy to cast all the time because they cost almost no points. So assuming you can actually keep that buff up relatively easily, I want to see how overpowered that is because it seems like that's a ridiculously high thing. Whew. Okay, I don't know what that has to do with the discussion, or not even discussion, what I'm talking about, because this character is not going to be a Shirati, but I also don't think it's entirely a Gimp Epic Destiny, because it does have some use. I mean, consider that it has more usefulness than just, oh, I wonder if, damn, here you go. I think it has more usefulness than what you're just taking into account. Consider that if I'm playing as a wizard here, and I get 10 magic missile effects, welcome, welcome. Wait, anonymous? Sweet nymph. Wait, what? That's weird. That's not who I recruited. Huh. Up, down, down, up. Shirati, you're correct. It doesn't scale off of your spell power. Yeah. It doesn't scale off your spell power. However, it does have some extra effects that you may not be entirely considering. Those effects are... talk about this here. Oh my god, I'm turning and falling. Let's go to Shirati Champion. Nerve Venom, which gives you 7% chance to paralyze a living creature. If you're throwing out magic missiles, it's going to be happening nearly constantly. Stand and Deliver is fantastic. Gives you a lot of different spell power and range damage. So it's pretty good. Oh, he's got this? Alt-Tab's got this? Cool. Yeah, he's got this. Cool. The Fey Power, true, it doesn't scale, but... I don't know. It does give you some spell power. Bypassing Ghost Touch is kind of nice, and bypassing Dodge. There are some monsters that have Dodge chance, which is really annoying. But you're right. I definitely take Pin and a couple other things, whereas on an Otto's Whistler, I wouldn't definitely go into Shirati. That's why this character's probably not going to be in Shirati. I would take Magister over anything else. But it's really hard because there are a lot of epic destinies that that aren't as strong. Now I know for a fact the reason why Shirati champion doesn't scale with spell power is because this one's really, 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 really buggy. The developers did a diary where they basically talked about a lot of the different effects in Shirati, so like all the prism and the stun here, that has no save on them. They have no save. And they talked about the reason why they have no save is because no matter what they did, they couldn't get the save to work. They originally intended to have saves, but they just couldn't get it to work. So as a result, they just said, whatever, screw it. And they couldn't get saves to work on them, so they just made them all keeping in mind that they couldn't have a save. So right, but why would you be in Shirati as a Warlock? If you're playing Warlock, you always want to be in Exalted Angel, or sometimes you might want to be in Unyielding, so for tankiness. If you're playing Warlock, you wouldn't want to be playing Shirati anyway. Like, Shirati Champion is pretty much designed for spamming magic missiles. Ow, that really hurt. What do you gotta hurt me like that? Anyone got one of them, their hirelings or dogs or something that they can use to pull the next door? If not, one of you is going to volunteer to stand outside, because I want to kill monsters. Right, like I know it does, but there's like super no reason to use Shirati when you get infinitely more damage and healing from Exalted Angel. Right? I'm not saying that Shirati is always bad. I just think that if you're saying Shirati is bad because it doesn't work with your class that well as it works with other classes is kind of confusing. Also, I mean, wouldn't it be decent if you have Past Life Wizard for the magic missiles? The Warlock class is... Actually, it's going to be the topic of today's discussion. So I'll get to it later if you are willing to wait half an hour for all these quests to be done. But the long and short of it is, I very much like the Warlock class. I like the way they did it, and I'm excited to see more from Turbine. More like the Warlock class. And Warlock's not overpowered. You gotta compare it to Barbarian. Warlock is very, very strong, and it turns leveling into a joke and a farce. But in Epic Elites, there are still classes I would rather play above Warlock for sure. Bear in mind, I haven't done Legendary Elite, so I don't know what it's like at level 30. But from what I can tell, there's no Warlock in the universe that's going to do more damage than a Paladin or a Barbarian. Because Paladins and Barbarians hit really, really damn hard. But essentially the gist behind the Warlock class is they made something that's very, very user-friendly, and I think that's really important to consider. I know it also is very, very strong, considering it's not a very difficult class to play, but okay, that's fine. Paladins and Barbarians can do that on every single hit, and they can hit 4 times a second. So take your damage, multiply it by 4. Like when you have Paladins and Barbarians that can do almost 10,000 damage per second, they dwarf the damage that Warlocks can do. So like Warlocks are good. I'm not even going to pretend to say that Warlocks aren't very good, but their single target damage is nowhere near as high as a melee. And it's like a non-debatable fact how much damage you can get from being a Barbarian or a Paladin, how much higher it is. And I'm skipping this one. Oh man, this is a good song. However, the important thing to remember about the class, essentially, so the Warlock is basically like a... It's a charisma-using class, so they scale off of charisma, and instead of casting spells to deal all of their damage, they do have that option. They do have a couple damage-dealing spells, although most of them are utility. Instead, they channel that energy into basically beams that they shoot out at monsters, and their energy beams deal a lot of damage. Munctures are still a thing. They did nerf them, sort of. They nerfed the build that people are using. From what I've heard from people that still play Munctures, they said that they're actually better than they were before. You just had to change your build. So, but yeah, the Warlock essentially is you just shoot beams of energy out your hands to deal damage. There are a lot of cool ways you can modify the beams, so you can turn them into cones, you can make it chain from monster to monster, things like that. So there are a lot of ways you can manipulate and modify your beams. And you can also change the damage type, all sorts of stuff. A lot of really cool effects. And because you form a demon pact as a warlock, it actually affects the spells that you gain depending on which pact you choose, which is based off your alignment. I actually very much am liking this this power word stun shenanigans, because I can just stun whatever I want. So they've got a lot of cool abilities there. So the Warlock's, it's pretty nifty. I kind of really like the Warlock. I like the way the class is designed, because it gives you a lot of options, and I find a lot of classes don't give you those kinds of options. Thank you. I find a lot of classes don't really give you the option. Again, this is going to be the topic of what I'm going to be talking about once I'm at the end of the stream here. The Strimstream discussion topic is going to be talking about the Warlocks. It's true, but it is very useful. There are things that obviously I can't get through with this. I kind of wish I could beat spell resistance better. I could put points into it, obviously. I could get my spell resistance here.
Still not a count of 10.
YOLO. Man, this guy takes so much damage. Where'd he go? Oh my god, the Mind Flayer body blocked the disintegrate. Good, he's dead. Give me this. Oh, I got hair dye that I don't need. Voice the master, everybody. Oh yeah, I want to make sure people understand. I'm not saying Warlocks aren't very strong, and they're very fun classes to play. I don't think they're extremely overpowered in every sense in the game, and I think overpowered is it's a word that you have to use carefully, right? Because saying something is overpowered assumes that it is over the average power level of a character. This build, I will actually be writing one, and I will be able to link it to you. Let me see what I have here. Let me see if can I do this at the same time? Let's see. I'm trying to do two things at the same time. So give me a second here. So this here that I have here, I'm going to link this in the chat. Bam. This is a page that I made for this character. It's all the lives I'm going to be doing on this character. It also contains the vote link, so if you're there and you want to help me decide what I'm going to be doing next, or what character type I'm going to be playing next, you can vote there. There should be a link in there. But once I'm finished with this character, I'm going to be writing a guide for it, essentially. It's going to be linked off of that page. I'll link it in here as well, so you'll see it, and I'll also have it linked on my forum, or on the forums. So I'll have it in 3 separate places. I don't have a guide for it yet. I will at some point. I don't want to write a guide for a character that I don't really entirely understand, you know? This character, also, keep in mind, this character is very fun to play, and it's very cool, especially the way the spells look. I've always liked force effects. I thought they were cool, like the purple energy and stuff, the idea that you're channeling pure energy. I always loved that. I thought that was just a cool concept. And I was kind of disappointed that there weren't more force abilities in the original Dungeons & Dragons, like in the book. There are a lot more in a lot of the expansions, not expansions, in a lot of the God, I'm totally thinking of video games right now. In a lot of the source books that you could get, but there weren't a lot of base force spells. And I remember I have the complete arcane actually somewhere behind me, and in there is the Argent Savant, which is essentially like all of the elemental savants that the sorcerer currently has in the game, except dealing with force damage. I'm not eating that. Rest in peace. It's a similar concept, except it deals with force damage and force spells. Now, keep in mind, there are not a lot of force damage spells in the original Dungeons and Dragons, and which I know is something that I've already said, but it's very important to understand. There just really aren't a lot of force spells. Or force damage spells. There are a lot of force spells, though. Bigsby's Crushing Hand, Tensor's Floating Disc. There are a lot of great spells that have force in the descriptor. Wall of Force, things like that. An impenetrable wall or barrier that you can't get around, and is even, like, resistant to magic? That's a really cool idea for a spell. It doesn't work in DDO, though. I very much enjoyed playing like a Force Wizard or Sorcerer, but in classical pen and paper, but it doesn't work so good when you're not doing classical pen and paper and you're trying to do it here. I'm glad they added some of the effects though, some of them in more damage. Yeah. My brother is texting me, which is odd because he normally doesn't do that. Let me see. Here we go. Monsters. So another benefit is I can ice storm this, but I will be writing a guide for it though. If you are sitting here and you're watching me and you're like, God damn, this is really cool. I wonder if Strimtom's going to make any other cool builds. I highly recommend you vote on what I should play next, largely because I like to encourage interaction, and also because I can never decide on what character I'm actually going to be playing as my next character build. I have a whole list on there. It also has the race. There's the option to either play what's the best for that character class, or to be a man and play a Warforged anyway. I don't really want to play a Warforged Henshin Mystic Monk with the reduced wisdom, but you know what? If that's what the people want, that's what the people get. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, can I link this? Yeah, I can link this. Hey, oh, hey. Perfect. My brother's messaging me, so I want to make sure I give him the message that he wants to receive. I shouldn't be texting during stream, but it's very important. Largely because my brother's like, hey, how do I watch your stream? It's probably pretty good. And you know, I think the stream is actually pretty good. Oh god, I just realized I'm not doing the old man voice that I was forced to do last week for like 2 hours, and I destroyed my throat and I couldn't talk anymore. I hope nobody brings that up, because I don't really want to do that. I'm not interested in doing the old man voice. I would describe this character as difficult. Whoa, somebody opened that trap. This character is high difficulty. It can heal itself, but it doesn't, because it's a self-restricting class. So that's a very important part about this character. This character is not just This character is not just like very, very face roll for the entire game. In fact, there's a lot of elements of this character that make it not face roll. When you start playing, until you hit level 12, you're going to be running out of mana in every single quest. So you're not going to get to the shrine before you run out of mana, which is kind of frustrating sometimes. Because running out of mana just genuinely sucks. Yeah, but it's going to happen all the time. Well, okay, here's the thing. You can go on the forums, or even brainstorm to yourself and say, I wonder what a good character build is. So if you think to yourself, what could a good character build be? You're immediately going to find some great character builds. Going any of the savants as a sorcerer, and just doing, maxing out your damage as high as possible. Playing any kind of warlock with lots of charisma, probably going to be a really good build. Playing barbarian and dual wielding or two-handing, probably going to be a good build. There's a lot of really good builds out there that you can just straight up make. Or all over the forums you'll find lots of good builds. Should I take 2 levels of monk? Why not? It gives you evasion and lots of saves, There's lots of great builds you can find out there. However, there are a lot of bad builds. I'm going to tell you something. There's nobody that played Archmage Wizard straight up with all force damage that wasn't Shirati Champion as an epic character and didn't have like a bunch of levels of Favored Soul and stuff. There's nobody that just did that. And the reason nobody did that is because it was bad. It was considered bad by pretty much everybody. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. It's like, compared to just doing regular damage, I think it's pretty good now. But for the past, 14 levels, it's it's been pretty difficult to actually play. Like, there's a lot of micromanagement involved in the character. Another example is like the Arcane Archer Ranger that I made, that I have a link to. If you actually go to my lives, there should be a link to the Acid Arrow build. That build was a lot of fun, and it's actually, I'm going to be honest, it's stronger than this character, by far. At least I believe it's stronger than this character, and I also believe that it's easier to play than Warlock. I am 100% like on board with the idea that the Archer Ranger is easier to play than any Warlock character I've made, and I've played a lot of Warlocks. I've probably done about 4 lives of Warlock at this point, and I've not been able to find an easier character to play than that Ranger. But how did I find that out? Well, I had to say, okay, how many people do I see playing Arcane Archer? How many people when I go on the forums, what builds do I see? And when I don't see these things, when I do a Control F and I don't find them, or when I see Turbine recently made a change to a character class, I just say, alright, it was a certain way, I wonder how it is now, I'm going to look into it, and I'm going to see what I can make. Sometimes you end up with bad characters. This character had a real chance to be bad. Fortunately, though, the Arcane Blast does hilarious damage, and I'm assuming that if I can actually pull off this, the Master of Knowledge, with the 60% increased spell crit, and having almost 50% chance to crit with all my spells, I mean, geez, that's a lot of damage. I'm wondering actually how high I can get the damage on this thing. I don't know, though. We'll have to find out. But that's why I have a lot of builds on that list that are kind of bad, especially on the vote list, which I have here. If you haven't gone and voted, you absolutely should take a chance and vote. The Henshin Mystic Monk, I think, would be the absolute hardest of all of them, because it's one I have no idea whether it's actually going to work out or not. The Henshin Mystic Monk, is by far the worst monk class. It's uses DCs, and it scales off of spell power, but the only things that scale off of spell power are special monk abilities. It needs to generate ki in a very high quantity to keep its spells going, but to generate ki, it actually has to be in melee. To be in melee, it has to, you have to actually be able to hit stuff, and you're going to be sacrificing some of your melee abilities if you're trying to play as a full Henshin Mystic Caster Monk. So, there's just a ton of things to consider of, the complexity of the awfulness of the character build is very difficult to understand how I can actually make it work. But the only way you find out is just by playing it. You literally have to pick it up, slot the character into your computer screen and just run with it and see what you can make. It's the same thing with my Dwarven Warlock. It's going to be a melee build. I don't know if it'll work or not. We'll have to find out. But who knows? Maybe it will work. That'd be cool. But we'll see. Yeah, adventure is complete. I would like to recall now. So yeah, there's a lot of characters that I don't know if they will work. The Mega Man X build is also another build that I want to do. The Mega Man X build is going to be absolutely fantastic. The idea behind the Mega Man X build is it's Warforged, required, because you're Mega Man X. Cry is next. The Mega Man X build is the idea if you play a Warforged, because you have to be a Warforged because you're a robot, and then you run around with a Bastard Sword in one hand, because you're basically kind of like Zero, or Mega Man X from Mega Man X6, and you have the Rune Arm in the other hand, and the big focus is on running around, running and gunning, with the Rune Arm in one hand and the sword in the other, so like melee arming kind of thing. Is it going to be good? Probably not. It's probably going to be absolute garbage and terrible, but I won't know until I try it. If you see a Warforged, or an Artificer, you see a character like Mechanics, who's got a crossbow and goes pew pew pew, pew pew pew, pew 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 all around the world, which everybody knows is good. Everyone and their dog knows that that's a good build. It's super good. But what if you try another build? What if you decide to strap a sword in your hand and use something that's probably pretty terrible, Now, if I was just burning through lives and I was trying to just get lots of fast lives you know, oh, I really need a wizard life done so I can, you know, do this other build that requires past life wizard, that kind of thing. If I was just trying to do that, I would probably hit the forums, pick the easiest leveling guide, and then just blast through it. But at this point, I'm just trying to determine like the stats, you know, trying to push the limits of the game. I want to get a good understanding. So that way I can write all sorts of cool and fun guides. I am going to write the guide for this character, and some of you will read it and you'll be like, man, this seems terrible. And then you'll start playing it, and you'll get this character probably like level 6, and you'll be like, why am I even playing this anymore? It's so much harder than every other character I've made in my entire life. It's bad. And then you'll question your sanity, and you'll start to, you know, you'll find yourself waking up in the middle of the night with nightmares of playing a wizard and doing quests very, very slowly if you can't get anyone to join your group. And it'll just be a nightmare for you, and you'll wonder why you ever did it. And then at some point, you'll hit that sweet, sweet level 12, and it'll all be worth it, man. It'll all be worth it. This character is like, just, once you hit level 12, it's okay. It's okay, you know? You just gotta hit level 12. Oh, spell resistance, no. It's all about the level 12. I know it might sound like I'm speaking in a circle, but it's because I am. I want to emphasize how awful this character is to level with. But then how satisfying it is when you get to throw those like big balls of death. I love it. It's purple, man. Purple's like one of my favorite colors. Just being like, hey, what's up, Rashagza? Boom! Oh, did that Jarlith in the background take almost 800 damage? You bet he did. Uh-oh. Boom! And I get a kill. Very satisfying character to play. And now I'll let someone else take the fall. Good job. Good job, team. That's what I'm talking about, teamwork. I also love it when like these guys are like, oh, I'm just gonna body block for my team, and they run up and they take the ball in the chest and explode, and it kills most of their teammates. Ah, feels good. That's one of those super satisfying moments, man. I tell you. Boom! Balls of death. I'm telling you, man, being good at the game is way, like, having a good character build is being way overrated. Because when you have a good character build, everyone's like, wow, that guy's so good. But when you have, like, a weird character build that no one's ever seen before, you get people sending you tells being like, yo, what spell is that? I ain't never seen that before. If you want to have an experience like that, where you literally have people asking you, like, what spell you're casting, because they have no idea if they've never seen it, just play a full caster Artificer. Play an Artificer, max out your intelligence, go up the Arcano Technician tree, and, instead of the Battle Engineer, and just use the spell-like abilities. It's really strong. You'll very easily get to level 20, for sure, and, you can actually go decently far in the epics now that they have the Master of Artifice feat, which increases the cast level of all those spells by 10. You can actually go pretty far with that character. But you will cast, what's it called? Lightning Rod, I think, is the spell where it makes the big, like, lightning cone. And it looks unique. No other spell in the game has that effect. And you'll have people who are like, yo, how do you do your damage? I don't understand. Because they don't get it. It's pretty cool, man. Oh, he's bouncing around. Oh, no. Check. I like when people can get those traps. So I don't have to die. I'm too pretty to die! Man. I freaking love this big ball of energy, man. It's like, woo! And then they get their save, because they think they're better than me. I say they think they're better than me, because they still die, but it just takes a little while, because they're confused, they're deluded. They think they can beat the 100% pure Force Wizard. See, look at this champion Jarlith. He's like, oh, man, I'm going to beat the 100% Force Wizard. Except he doesn't realize I am also a champion, and I'm going to collect his remnants. Literally the shard and shard remnants of that monster. Did we get to the other side? I don't know. Let's go over here and find out. Now, like any other thing in the game, you might be thinking to yourself, but I played lots of Call of Duty or X Game, and I made montage videos, and I want everyone to see, you know, how good I am. I want to have a measure so that it's not good enough that I know that I'm doing something. I want other people to see how good I'm doing. You hit that X button, you see 72 monsters. Wow, Strimstream's killed 37. That's over 50% of the monsters that have been killed by one player. But who is that? Bam! The most handicapped class race combination that I've ever played or seen. Oh, man. So, one thing I don't have any faith in that I've seen a lot are half-orc fighter sorcerers. I just think that's questionable, but it seems to do all right. The worst are the people that multi-class classes that they really shouldn't. So, it's really hard because you can pretty much strap a melee weapon on almost any character and make it work. Ooh, man. Taken down. I don't know what happened to Miria. Jeez. Oh man, that's really hard. What's the worst race class combination I've ever seen? It's hard because the people that aren't very helpful generally or that don't have that strong characters, you don't see them as often, you know, because you focus on the people that like destroy enemy monsters in like one hit. You don't notice on. Oh wait, do we have a stone? Most handicapped race class combination. So that's a tough one. That's a tough sell. I do see a lot of Drow barbarians, and I'm not entirely sure why. I feel like Drow is not one of those things that makes a good barbarian. Maybe I'm wrong. You get the poison damage on your blades. I mean, I guess it's kind of good, but I don't really see that as being good enough to warrant it. I've also seen several Warforged Bards. I think Warforged Bard is just atrocious, because as a Warforged, all you do is lose a feat, because you have to take a feat to get armor, and you heal yourself for much less than normal, and you have a minus on your Charisma, so you pretty much gain nothing. So Warforged Bard is pretty bad for race class combo. However, you get to give yourself an awesome name like AC/DC or something like that. Because you play heavy metal, or like Metallica. Any kind of metal band, or rock band, and then you're Warforged. Wow, a belt! That gives spell resistance and insightful spell resistance. That's a 31 spell resistance belt for level 16. That's hilarious. Yeah. Most handicapped, though. It's hard to say. Also, anyone that wants to multi-class, sorcerer, and... Yeah, it's hard. Because most people that multi-class, they either don't know what they're doing entirely, and they don't end up making it very far, so they take like a few levels of cleric so they can heal themselves. So they'll be like cleric barbarian or something like that. The Giant Hold Tour, the last part, is next. Giant Hold Store. So you get people that take a couple levels of something just so they can actually heal themselves. And then they end up not making it very far, and then they re-roll it. You see a lot of people that just take one level of, ooh, level 82 Impulse. I want this. Perfect. It's a new Impulse item. It's a new spell power. A lot of people who take one level of Rogue, that kind of thing. It's really hard to say, though. There aren't really... I've made some bad class combos. I'll tell you a bad class combo. Paladin Warlock is a straight-up melee. I thought it would be really good to take 5 levels of Warlock on a Paladin. So that way I could get all the area of effect abilities that I could throw around. I thought that would be really good. Turns out that's not how that works. They scale off 2 separate things. The Warlock area of effect damage doesn't do anything if you don't have a lot of levels of Warlock. And you can't. It shares cooldown with all the cleaves share cooldown with Great Cleave and stuff. So it's pretty hard to. Wow, 150 mana. That's crazy. It was very difficult to actually keep track of. So that was probably the worst, was Paladin Warlock trying to just stay a melee. Don't do that. Bad idea. Also, Warforged Clerics are always bad. Because if you want to play a Warforged melee Cleric, you should just play a Favored Soul. It's basically the same thing, but you're better. Because you actually get damage reduction for free. Whereas you don't get that if you play a Cleric. Because you get adamantine damage reduction for being a... Ooh! 90 reconstruction spell power. Yes, please. Also, this song's fucking awesome, man. If you haven't played this game, what is this, Super Mario RPG? And you haven't gone to the Mole Town and the mines, telling you, you gotta do it. Gotta talk to Craig, get the quest, go to the final part, and bam. But yeah, so the worst class combination I've probably seen is probably people adding in like a level of cleric so they can heal themselves, or 2 levels of cleric, and then realizing how bad of an idea that is. That, and also I know a guy who plays barbarian wizard. Barbarian wizard's bad, by the way. And I don't mean like barbarian wizard as in like, oh, he's got the melee spells like what's the one? Tensor's Transformation. I do not mean that. I mean like barbarian wizard, with just like no, she's just a melee who's cast like blur. Ooh, baby, maybe not the best idea. This character is full wizard, of course. I have no multi-classing on this character. Being able to disable traps is something that you probably should want and you should aspire to, but I'm lame and I don't do that. A guy I know. You probably never see anybody on your server playing it, but I happen to know somebody who plays Barbarian Wizard. I don't need to reveal their name. They're not watching the stream. They'll never watch the stream. But I will leave their shame to themselves. Nobody plays Barbarian Wizard. That's very counterintuitive. Oh man, I'm not keeping high on the kill list. See? This is what happens when you start talking, you're not paying attention to like keeping on this high ranking that doesn't really mean anything and nobody cares about. Phew. I love these spells, man. Oh no. And also Phantasmal Killer is one of the coolest spells in the game. I remember when that was the only death spell. That was awesome. Ooh, ooh, he's a champion. He's the champion. He's dead. Level 16 SLR. Wait, no. Nobody gets Phantasmal Killer as a spell like a... Wait, does somebody get Phantasmal Killer as a spell like ability? No way. Who gets Phantasmal Killer as a spell like ability? No way. I don't think that's the case. If that's the case, I'm impressed. No way, man. The one that I think is actually way better than that is, I think the best magic missiler you can make is probably still 2 paladin, 5 favored soul, or sorry, 3 paladin, 5 favored soul, and 12 wizard. 12 wizard gives you access to all the crit out of this tree. Then the favored soul gives you access to the crit all the way up the favored soul tree, and the extra force damage that you get from Scourge. So it's an extra pretty much like almost 45 spell power. I think that's probably the best. Is the best way to do it if you're trying to go full magic missile spammer. So you only spam magic missiles. I think that's probably the best way. Sorcerer might also be good, but I'm like 12 sorcerer instead of 12 wizard. But I'm pretty set on wizard. I think wizard's probably better because you actually get the critical hit chance. Because by playing a wizard, it's going to give you an extra 6% critical hit with your force damage. Kind of important.
The guards rush through the door to do you in.
Yeah, I haven't made a full magic missiler, of course. This is speculation, pure speculation. Yeah, it's probably a good idea for the better cash level. I like having 3 paladin because it gives you that fear immunity. I just find fear immunity is too good to pass up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just too good of an effect. Like, being totally immune to all fear effects is kinda nice. Because when you're playing, you know, epic elite whatever, and there's just some monster that hits you with a fear effect of a DC 80 and you're not ready for it, and you're not going to make it 80 save, so. Oh my god. This song is so good. Oh, that didn't go down like I wanted it to. I'm being surrounded. Run. Abandoned ship. Game over. I gotta put on displacement when I do stuff like that. Oh my god. Oh, you can get a fear immunity augment? Are you serious? Wow. Okay, I did not know that. Although, is it one of those augments that you get out of the DDO store? Because if it's one of those augments you get out of the DDO store, I mean... Greater Heroism does. But there are those odd cases where you get dispelled and then you get feared, or beholdered and then feared. Although beholder would dispel the fear afterwards, it's just still a chance I don't like to take. A big example is when you're doing what goes up, you can get destroyed by the fear effects. Is it what goes up? No, it's not what goes up. What is it? What goes up is the web effects that you need freedom of movement. Blah blah blah. Anyway, I'm gonna shrine here while I can. Yeah. What spell? There's an area where the monsters cast dispel magic and they also cast fear spells. I'm trying to remember what area that is. And I always found it annoying, so I just like having paladin levels so you don't have to worry about it. Bam, go through the door. From the 12. Oh, you can get it just from your just from handing in like the tokens of the 12. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Please don't follow me, everybody. Let's split up, please. So that way we can get this quest done. Oh man. Oh god, he said string table error, table DID, OX token something. I feel like that character did not intend to say that. Yeah, also by taking 3 paladin, it gives you access to 20% bonus life. And 20% bonus life is nothing to shake your head at, by the way. If you know anything about this game, having just a flat 20% bonus on life is ridiculous, okay? Oh, Sweet Nymph has died. What did Sweet Nymph die to? Where did Sweet Nymph die? I'll tab. Sweet Nymph died over there. Yeah, Rangers are actually insanely good. Rangers are so good that I highly recommend if you want to play specifically a bow ranger, check out this guide that was written by me. Really good guide. It'll teach you pretty much how to play a perfect ranger. Really fun to read as well. I'm sure you'll like it. As far as I can tell, it's the highest mathematical DPS you can do while leveling. At max level, I don't know. I didn't play it to level. I TR'd when I hit 30. I don't generally like playing at endgame. There's a lot of very helpful comments, though. If you actually read all of the responses, there are people who are very good at the level 30 thing. They kind of did the math on what's the best. So I'm not going to claim to know what's the best. I'm going to leave it up to the experts on the website. But for the purposes of simply leveling, I'm very convinced that there's no better ranger guide you can do. Power Word Stun! Power Word Stun is way too good. It's like, oh man, look, there's a monster. He's going to run at me. YOLO. I don't give a shit. So, yeah. It might be a self-endorsement, but I just want to show people that guide. When I write, I'm also going to write a guide for the, if you have read that guide and you enjoyed the way it was written, a lot of people told me that they liked the style, which I find is something that's really missing from... Wait. Can you pull the lever on the other side, if you're there? Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, you have to be able to play the game with one hand. You know, there are a lot of reasons to play the game with one hand. Sometimes you want to play the game, you want to drink your coffee, and look at me. I'm trying to play the game with one hand, but I got to reach my fingers across the keyboard to hit number 8 and number 7 and number 5. In fact, I'm hitting the wrong keys right now. And it's actually really stressful to play this game with one hand. It's way too challenging. Oh my god, what is happening here? Oh my god. I'm like... I have to really jump my fingers across the keyboard right now to hit like 7 and 8. Oh man. I have a mouse that's keybound better, so it's got all the keys on the side, so I do most of my keys on the other side. Oh, hey. I'll invite Driznell. We're almost at the end, but... Welcome, welcome. We're almost at the end of Tor. I don't know if I had a thing going up. You can also do calligraphy. You know, you can...
On the loading screen.
Yeah, we're at the end. We're almost done, so you've got time. Yeah, blow up the statues. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff, okay? I'm telling you. You have a lot of really great options of things you can do with one hand.
Dragon?
I don't think I'm doing the dragons, no. Unfortunately, I just don't have time to do the dragons today.
Uh,
I'll probably be running this tomorrow, though, and I'll do dragons tomorrow. I just don't have time today. Don't have time to do dragons today. Hey, a shield. Check it out. Cool. Alrighty. But yeah, so if you like the style of that guide, I'm going to be writing the arcane, this build. Basically, I'm going to be writing a guide for this one as well. It'll be in a similar style, although it won't be in the same level of detail, because I don't think this one is good enough to warrant a forum build. I might copy paste some of it and but we'll see. I don't think it's like, I don't want people playing this basically, because they'll hate it. But yeah. Defensive Helm of Parrying? YOLO, that's terrible. Insightful Magical Sheltering? Meh. Don't care enough. Diplomacy? Pfft. Look at all these bad items. Who cares? I'm just going to go to my Tales of Valor. Alright, thank you for joining me, everybody. I'm gonna... got some other stuff to do, so hope you have a pleasant evening, and I will see you guys later. So I'm going to right-click, hit Leave Party. Ba-bam! Alrighty, so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my reward from the saga. It's very important to grab your reward from completing all the quests. You get the reward here. So claim my reward. I can get a Tome of Skill. Actually, if I take this Tome of Bluff, I probably shouldn't. This is something I should not do, by the way. I won a consumable. Where is it here? Is it under Miscellaneous? Where is it? Where does this go? Where'd it go? Wand? No, is it under Jewelry? Of course it's under Jewelry. I won a Tome of Upgrade, Tome of Skill, Bluff 1 to 2. If I take the Tome Bluff 1, then I can get Bluff 2. So that's plus 2 to everything. Oh, I'm not actually done streaming for the day. I'm just done with the done with this group, and then I'm going to go into the second part. So yeah. What do I take here? Is it worth it? Chat, what do I do? I need to know, you guys. Do I take the Bluff Tome so I can use my plus 2 or plus 1 to plus 2 so I can get plus 2 to my Bluff permanently because it's a tome? Do I take the 46,000 experience points or do I take the 15,000 guild renown? I need to know what to do. You guys got to tell me, chat. I don't know. I don't have like it's not in my mind, you know what I'm saying? So you got to tell me what to do. Killstorm says XP. XP is pretty good. It's 46,000 XP, so it's essentially like an entire Crucible. So is that. Is like I said, it just Renown? Random Race says Renown, so that's 1 XP and 1 Renown. I don't know. I'm kinda leaning on the Bluff. Guild Renown? I mean, guys, it's 15,000, but like that's plus 2 to my Bluff I could have. You know? But that is 2 for Guild Renown. Alright, I think Guild Renown might be the winner. Because I agree, having 15,000 extra Guild Renown actually levels up the guild. Something I kind of care about. Alright. Renown is for suckers. Tome it up. Oh! Renown is for suckers. Because this gives me a permanent plus 2 on a skill. I think I can actually get a Tome of Bluff. I can buy it in the auction house. I think we're gonna have to go with the Renown. Bam, 15,000 guild renown. Perfect, wonderful for my guild. Alrighty. So thank you for watching the Dungeons and Dragons segment of the show. Now we're moving on to the discussion segment of the show, and we're going to be discussing a topic related to Dungeons and Dragons Online in the game. I'm going to be discussing something that I think is relatively important. I have to switch characters to show this off, though. But yeah, I'm going to be discussing this. It's something I think is pretty important, and I need a character. Where are you, character? Best Warlock NA. So I'm going to pick up my character Best Warlock NA. And I'm going to be talking about something. Today what we're going to talk about is the Warlock class and the design behind it and the design around it. So when the Warlock came out, it busted onto the scene. I made this character the moment the Warlock came out. Best Warlock NA. I pretty much just made a Drow Warlock, dumped all of my points into Charisma when the game unfreezes. Give me a second. Dumped all my points into Charisma, put some points into Constitution, and just started playing the game, okay? I just started playing the game. I didn't know what to do. I literally, it was day one when it came out. I was live streaming the first thing. I made the first Warlock, and when I joined, I made a group. and I had people joining my group just to watch me do stuff. Okay, this is not like bragging or anything. This is just showing off, like, just because they were confused. They wanted to see what the Warlock did. And the coolest thing about the Warlock is it kind of does everything. So I'm going to go into that and why I think the Warlock is probably the best designed class the game's ever seen, and why I think Turbines should go in this direction in the future. So, for those that are uninitiated, what is the Warlock? Well, the Warlock is a very interesting character class that allows you to channel essentially magical energy into these kind of beams. I'm going to show it off by going into a quest here, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So we're going to go into the Shiny Shilling. I'm just going to put it on Elite, just whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah. So here's my Warlock. I've got a melee weapon, but then I have an ability here called Eldritch Blast Focused. So when I click this on, my hands don't have anything in them anymore because I'm blasting, and when I hold down my button, I start shooting out these blasts of energy, right? They deal a bunch of damage. It scales off your spell power, and it also scales off feats that you get when you level up. So it goes under Warlock feats, so you can easily check. I have my damage, which is increased by a d6, which is acquired 6 times. So this does an extra 6d6 of my base blast damage. And then I have pact damage, which also gives me damage based on my pact. The base blast damage is force, so this deals force damage, and then the extra pact damage is whatever my pact is. I chose Fey, so it's sonic damage. So if I go through this door, I'm going to find some kind of schlubs in here, and when I shoot my beam, it hits a guy for 141 of the base damage and then 70 of the extra pact damage. So that damage is really high. Like really high, as you're noticing. I'm hitting this guy 2 beams and I did 430 damage, and I'm only level 13. This character is very versatile. You don't have to hit with this per se. It's just like, you know, it just has to make contact. It doesn't actually have to hit. And this is really cool because it creates a whole new range dynamic. It allows me to keep firing out range DPS, but my mana doesn't go down. I can just keep shooting out these different blasts. And the coolest part is you can actually change the shape. So I can alter my shape based on my playstyle. Do I want it to chain? So when I hit a target, it will bounce from one target to the next if I turn it on here. So it'll change the effect now. So if I pull both these runes, there'll be monsters in the next room so I can show it off. I see a monster. If I shoot one blast, you'll see this purple bounce in between the monster and the other monsters in the room. I guess there was only 3 guys and they all died in one hit. You see like a purple bounce. Really neat concept. It allows you to chain it. There's also a cone shape you can get. So when you shoot it out, it goes in a cone in front of you, like a cone of cold, every single blast, so it hits multiple targets. You can get an enervating shadow, which creates like a shadow shape which seeks out targets. All very cool. And then finally, you have the Enlightened Spirit Tree, which changes it into an aura. So instead of actually dealing the damage every time you shoot out a blast, you don't shoot out a blast at all, you turn on an aura, and this little aura comes out around you, and every time it pulses, it deals damage to everything in this circle. Very cool effect, and there's a lot of different choices here, and I like the design for a few reasons. One, it gives you options. You can still play melee while you have this aura active, so now suddenly you have a way, as a tank, to deal damage while you're holding down your shield block, because the aura is still pulsating. If I'm playing a tank, I can do that. So if I wanted to, I can go in my Enlightened Spirit Tree, and what's this? I get bonus health from wearing medium armor, and what's this? I get bonus life, and what's this? I get Shining Through, which gives me temporary hit points equal to 12 times my Constitution score. All sorts of ridiculous abilities and effects that make this character a good tank. And then you have the Tainted Scholar tree. Tainted Scholar basically just gives you more damage. It gives you damage when you use your little blasts, it gives you additional spells, and it gives you spell critical hit chance. And then it gives you a second mechanic called Depravity, which allows you to sacrifice something to gain stats. So I can use Stanch, which sacrifices my maximum health, but then gives me temporary health. Or I can channel Depravity into a stun attack, that kind of thing. A lot of very cool effects, and it also gives you additional spells, faster attacks, and tons of spell critical damage. Hilarious levels of damage. And then finally, you have the Soul Eater, which is this weird, I don't even know how to describe it. It's the weird tree. You get Finger of Death as a spell-like ability, which is kind of strange. You get these weird damage over times like Consume and Stricken, and essentially you lob debuffs at targets, and then you can have the debuffs apply additional debuffs and deal damage over time. So you're almost like some kind of, think of almost like a Warlock from World of Warcraft. You're throwing out debuffs like an Affliction Warlock, And it's very interesting because there's 3 different dynamic ways to play the class, but because it's DDO, you can mix and match all of them. So I can choose, even though I'm playing Tainted Scholar, and I don't want to use this aura, and I just want to shoot out these energy beams out of my hand, I can still take the Eldritch Burst, which is sort of like a burst like this, that I can still cast from my hands. It gives me options to take different things, but this tree was, and the way the class kind of sets up is almost, I'm not going to say perfect, but kind of brilliant in a sense. A new player can pick up this character class, and without really understanding exactly what to do, it's kind of easy to figure out. You point at stuff, you hit stuff, you deal damage, and it's fantastic. You get a couple of spells at every level that gives you some help, so I got Jump, I got Blur, I have Invisibility, just useful spells that are generally good for pretty much any character. Invisibility for sneaking around, or Haste for your allies, even stuff like Death Ward. So very versatile spell list, and they deal decent damage with not too much investment. So if you don't have the best items, I have a really good item here. It gives me light damage and light critical, so it allows my... And then I took an enhancement that changes my force damage to evil, which scales off of light spell power. Don't ask me why, that's just the way it works. It actually allows me to crit and deal a lot of damage with my evil damage, and it scales all my damage using one effect. So because of this, and the way the Warlock is designed, it's very easy to start multi-classing your Warlock with other effects. The Warlock is great on its own, because all the capstones are relatively good. Devour the Soul is fantastic. It's a very high DC instant death effect that works on undead. So anything with a life force. So really strong capstone here. Heretical Lore, really strong capstone. Plus 4 charisma, 30% spell critical damage. And then finally, the ultimate enlightenment, really strong capstone. It gives you 20% life. That's crazy. People will play it just for 20% life. When this character came out, there were very few builds that actually didn't multi-class. There was no reason not to take 2 levels of Paladin, 2 levels of Monk, or 2 levels of Rogue, or something like that, to kind of split up your character and get all sorts of effects. When Warlock hit the stage, Heretical Lore is good enough. 30% spell critical damage? That's crazy. It's good enough to actually play 20 levels of Warlock and just go with it, and actually be good. If you didn't know anything about the game, you could just pick up Warlock and go. And I think that's kind of like a future design that I kind of want them to focus on. Warlock gets lots of Use Magic Device. Kind of too much, I think, but they get so much Use Magic Device, it's very easy for the character to just heal itself out of nowhere. So I can carry around a wand, and ooh, I took a little bit of damage, no problem. I can heal myself back up to level 45 damage or healed back from a wand. Very, very easy to use and to heal yourself with. They get health out of like a couple of the trees. Now, of course, the Tainted Scholar, they actually sacrifice some of their health when they get higher level. They sacrifice 25 health. But I have the option to heal myself. I have multiple option playstyles. Do I want to play melee? Do I want to play tank? Do I want to play ranged? Do I want to play like some kind of support dot caster? Do I want to focus on like DCs going into the Soul Eater line and taking spells like Evard's Black Tentacles and other things like that? How do I want to play a character? All these are literally built into the class for you. There's even an option in Enlightened Spirit, which I don't recommend you take, to go full summoner character. So they get concealment, they get extra damage and spell power, they get extra health. Don't do that, it's bad, but you could do that, okay? Because they're Warlock, they summon, they make pacts. The Warlock has so many different varied options built into the class. This is without multi-classing, and the multi-classing opens it up even more to so many different other possibilities. I've seen Warlock Wizards, I've seen Warlock Paladins, I've seen Warlock Fighters, Warlock Rogues, I've seen Warlocks everything. Pretty much, I've seen every class multi-class as Warlock. I've even seen some high attack speed Warlock monks that use the light damage from the Warlock because I have this spiritual retribution that makes your melee attacks deal extra light damage. I've seen some high attack Warlock monks that deal light damage very, very quickly. There's so many different options for Warlock. And then on its own, it's just a strong class that you can just play. It's got self-healing, tons of options. This is the way I want classes to be designed. When you look at another class, I'm just going to pull up another class here to compare. I'm going to go to town, though, before I do that, so that way I don't actually have to like log out, do the long log out in here. Barlockians, if you mean like barbarians, warlocks, sure, I could see a barbarian warlock working. There are a lot of good options for that. If I can eventually get the game to let me to log out, it does that sometimes. If you play Dungeons & Dragons Online, you've seen this bug where you log out, but you're not actually logging out yet. There are a lot of different characters that don't quite have so many options as the Warlock, straight built into it. Eventually I'll log out here, and I'll give you a concrete example of one. Oh man, look at all my character classes. So many characters. Let's go with... let's just pick Sorcerer. Sorcerer's a good character. It's really strong, but we're just gonna pick Actually, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna pick Artificer. Artificer's even better. Artificer's like the perfect example of this. Artificer's really good. It's a well-designed class, but it's missing something, and I'm gonna show you what it's missing. Let me log in. Come on, game, load up. And this is the comparison to the Warlock. So, this character is. I was testing my Mega Man X build basically to make sure the proof of concept works. But this character is a Warforged Artificer. So as a Warforged, I can heal myself as an Artificer. Fantastic. If you play an Artificer but you're not a Warforged, you have to sink a lot of feats into being able to heal yourself. So immediately you can see that disconnect. Warlocks have no sacrifices and they get to heal themselves on top of other abilities. Artificers, you have to give something up, either by being a Warforged, which means you have to spend a feat on your armor, or you have to take feats specifically to make yourself into a living construct, and it takes, I think it's 3 feats to get full living construct status. That's a lot of investment just to be able to heal yourself. Then, let's head into the tree. Well, I only get 2 trees. I get Battle Engineer and I get Arcano Technician. Battle Engineer gives you a lot of extra damage on your abilities, so you can be a ranged damage dealer. Or you can be a melee, and it gives you some extra effect on your rune arms. Well, rune arms aren't nearly as effective as the base Warlock damage, and they're not nearly as varied. There are a lot of different effects, for sure. I'm not going to say rune arms are bad either. There's a lot of different fireball effects, cone effects, like homing missile effects. Good effects. But there are no dot effects, there's no stun effects that you can get from a rune arm, or charm effects or something like that. Could you imagine like a flashbang effect, so that when you burst out your rune arm, you're shooting out essentially like a beam of light that kind of blinds enemies and gives you that kind of advantage? That'd be fantastic if you're trying to play a melee, but it's not an option in the game. And when you compare that also, Arcano Technician has the dog enhancements, except the dog's AI is really, really bad, so it's very hard to play with. And it gives you the extra spell effects, which are great, but very single-minded. Spell focus only. So, not saying Artificers are bad. I'm just saying, like, they're a really great class, but it's the level of design. Artificers don't have quite that same versatility that you get, although they do get traps, for sure, which is a fantastic ability, to be able to disable traps and even set up your own traps. Right. But they don't even have a third tree. They don't even have as many options, you know? I'm not saying that Artificers are bad, alright? Artificers are fantastic. They're incredible classes. But when you go and you play the game, what you're going to see everywhere, every single place you go, if you look up Artificer, and I'm just going to do this right now. Artificer. Can I do that? I can sort by Artificer. Haha! I can do that. Wizards. Where are my Artificers? Where are my Artificers at? Wizard? Oh, it's sorting downwards, so I have to go to the bottom. Oh man, it's still loading the player list. Also, people that say DDO is dead haven't seen this player list on this server. Look at all these players playing right now. Artificers. Artificer Rogue, Artificer Paladin, Artificer with some Monk, but Artificer Rogue, Artificer Rogue, Artificer Rogue, Artificer Rogue, Artificer Rogue. Well, I don't know what this guy's doing with his Sorcerer Rogue. That's a really cool build, I love that. Artificer Rogue, Artificer with level of Ranger, Artificer Rogue with level of Wizard. That character may not know what they're doing, I don't know. Artificer, 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 and nothing else. If I scroll up to Warlock, however, Warlock, am I going to get the same thing? Potentially. A lot of Warlock Clerics, a Warlock Bard here, Warlock Monk, Warlock Monk. More Warlock Clerics. The favorite soul build, this one. Oh man, the tank build. Not nearly as much variety as I was expecting to be on at the time. I've seen a lot more varied Warlocks, regardless of anecdotal evidence and this Warlock Wizard favorite soul, which I'm not even going to pretend to understand. I know how that works. I love the design of the Warlock, okay? I think it's essentially, it's a great way for players to learn how to play the game. It also doesn't have quite as annoying sound as the Artificer with the constant pew-pew pewing. But yeah, comparing it, let's compare it to actually a better character. Let's try, I don't have a fighter. I want to compare it to a fighter. I just don't have a fighter. This is the problem. I don't have a fighter. I kind of have a fighter. Yeah, maybe I do. How about Rogue? Rogue might work a bit better. Just straight Rogue. I don't know if this character is actually good or not. We're just gonna go straight Rogue to give it a better comparison, because Artificer is actually a really well-designed class. And not saying Rogue is bad. They made a pass on Rogues recently. Rogue. So Rogues have a few different options. You can either be a staff-wielding Rogue. If you don't use staffs, you're essentially not putting any points in the Thief Acrobat tree under any circumstances, except for maybe the haste boost. But outside of that, you won't put any points in the Thief Acrobat tree for any reason, unless you're playing a ranged rogue. Mechanic, unless you're playing, a staff rogue, unless you're playing a pew 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 rogue, you're not going to be putting any points in the mechanic tree except for to get this mechanics to give you the extra disable device, and maybe the skill boost. No reason to put any points into here outside of that, though. And assassin rogues is where you put your points elsewise if you're playing any kind of melee. What? What am I false about? I'm confused. Because you can type in so false, but if there's nothing else you're typing in, like I want to get the discussion going. I need feedback. If you have a different idea, please let me know. Also, fast movement's pretty good as a rogue as well, getting the 1% movement speed for each level of rogue. Oh, and the extra damage, no mercy against helpless opponents. That's also very good, for sure. Yeah, because the extra damage. But I don't know, man. I feel like you're not going to get the same kind of varied build out of Rogue that you get out of Warlock. Or the same kind of variety. It just doesn't, it doesn't add up, It also doesn't help that Rogue has a bit of a harder start as well. Like, consider it also from a new player perspective, right? Put a new player on a Rogue and a Warlock, and you're going to see very different effects. Yeah, there's also the Dex. But yeah, if you put a new character on a Rogue or a Warlock, Warlock introduces you to the game a bit better, and I think that's a problem that a lot of players certainly have, especially if they don't know they can buy hirelings. I've seen this complaint very often, either on the forums and other things. Right, you made Rogue for years, but it's a hard class to pick up, right? I'm not saying that there should be bad or hard classes in the game, but that's why I like the Warlock. It's an easy to play class that anybody can kind of just get started in. It's true, and it does a lot of damage, right? But either way, I don't know. I really like the design of the Warlock class, and I want them to have more designs like that for the other character classes. It is true that and I'm not saying that the Rogue is bad. I mean, one of my lives is going to be a quarterstaff wielding Rogue, because I want to try it out. It looks like a lot of fun. Warlock is pay to play, but that's gotta pay money, man. The turbine designers gotta eat at the end of the day, So, either way, I just wanted to. Even if Warlock might be considered, yeah, you can easily play it if you buy it. Warlock might be considered overpowered by some, and if you play it, for sure, if you're playing in the heroic levels, compared to any other character class in the game. Oh, actually, no. That's pretty much the crux of my argument, what you said right there, Random Rice. High learning curve. Dungeons & Dragons Online is a game that should be defined by its high learning curve. Almost every other game has like a curve, and Dungeons & Dragons has one of these. It has a wall, a straight-up wall that goes right through the game, where if you don't know what the hell is going on right away, you're going to get lost really fast. And I like the fact that the Warlock kind of gets rid of some of that wall, and I'm really hoping that they can kind of figure that out. That's really the barrier to entry for a lot of new players, is just that wall. A lot of people persevere it, and yeah, you can earn TP for free. It's pretty easy to unlock the Warlock, actually, because it's only like 1,000 points. So it's not that hard to come by. But yeah, regardless. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people, they don't want to try grouping, or they don't even understand. You understand, just pressing O and going to this panel right here, this group panel, this is something that most players won't see when they come from another game. They don't even understand this, right? The idea that you just like join a group and you play with other people right away, like I can just click join, and then somebody will accept me and I'll start playing with them, is completely different. Everyone's used to like the group finder tool from other games where you like get in a queue and it automatically groups you, that kind of thing. And Rogue is fine for solo if you're sneaking, but sneaking in this game can be very hard if you don't entirely understand the mechanics as well. Like if you're like sneaking around but you're not sure how a lot of the stuff moving around. Either way, at the end of the day, I like the idea that Warlock is very noob friendly. I don't like a lot of the massive curves that are there in the game. Although I do like that Turbine does what they can in the start screen, in the character creation. They say this class is very hard to play and is not solo friendly. So, yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much my subject matter here. If you haven't given the game a try, I highly recommend you do, and give Warlock a try. Warlock's a sick class, man. It's really fun to play. It's relatively easy, and it'll get you into the other classes because you can pretty much play Warlock with whatever you're looking to play. But yeah, it is 10 o'clock, so we have reached the end of the stream here. So if you did have fun watching the stream, and also I'm not upset with what happened here. I am actually wrong about a couple of things. I'm glad we did have some discussion. The Rogue absolutely is fun to learn. Characters with a high skill cap are usually more fun to play. That's why I want to play a monk soon, because it's fun when you have more to do, when you're always pressing buttons on the keyboard to maximize what you're trying to do to be the most effective. So there's that. But if you liked what I do and you had a lot of fun with the stream today, be sure to go to this link and give me a follow. I put that there. I'm going to put that on the screen here. Hey, I can put that right here. Bam. Let's put that right there. Go to this link right here and give me a follow if you like doing that. I think you should do that. And if you haven't done it yet, I highly recommend you tell me what I should play for my next character. I'm currently doing the Force Wizard, which I'm going to write a guide for, but go ahead and get in there and let me know. Don't worry, I'm going to be playing the most fun monk. I'm going to be playing a mystic, a Henshin Mystic monk, and we're going to see what happens. But yeah. So, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time. Please also follow the DDO stream. I'm not the only wonderful person that streams on this service. A lot of other very, very great people that like to pass on the wisdom and have fun with the game. I don't know, man. Rogue. Maybe it's because I don't like sneaking. I think that's really the big thing. Every time I play a game, I'm like, why would I sneak when I can just stab somebody, Yeah, man. You can't play this game. You play Rogue. Don't tell me that it's not fun to play gimped classes. Get out of here. So there we go. Yeah. So thank you for watching. I'm gonna head out. I gotta work tomorrow. I gotta get up really early because I gotta drive across the city through all the traffic, and I don't want to do that. So thank you for watching. I will be actually continuing the stream for just a tiny bit on my own personal channel on Strimstream. So if you're bored to death, please, come on and join me out there. And I know you're going to tell me that it's actually good, but whatever. Anyway, so thank you for watching. I said that too many times. Have a great evening. The finger gets closer.